Welcome to Gen X Adulting. And today we have Nick Harrison, AKA the Professor, with us. Welcome, Nick.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We are so happy to have you. And our first question is always, what year were you born?
I was born in 1980. I am baby Gen X. I'm right there on the tail end.
Oh,
You
wow.
are. You are
Baby.
baby Gen X. Oh my gosh. So you actually probably can relate to the elder millennials too and their experience in addition to the Gen Xers.
I don't like to say that. I don't like don't lump me in with them. It's
Okay.
not no, please. I so here's the deal. Like I love the fact that I can be a 45-year-old man and be called a baby. It makes me so happy because I feel, other than that, I feel old as hell, like every day, like waking up with my back creaking, my knees are hurting as we speak. So call me a baby as much as you want, but I'm Gen X and full on Gen X for
I
life,
love it.
baby.
I love it. You're the last Gen X, right? You're
Yes,
the
we're
last.
the last, we're the last out, we're the last chopper out of Nam.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
I love I love that. Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Minden, Louisiana.
Okay, and so
Yes.
was your family from there? Your grandparents, your mom and dad?
So we're all from North Louisiana. That's where my username online is Mr. Professor 318. The 318 comes from the area code of North Louisiana because I'm
Okay.
from Grambling originally. I was born in Minden because that is where the best children's hospital in the area at the time was in Minden. So my mom, it's about like 20-30 minutes away from where I grew up.
Mhm.
So they drove from there to Minden so I could be born in a really good hospital. So that's
Wow.
why that's where that comes from. At the time, they were the number one rated children's hospital, I want to say, in the country, and
Wow.
Wow.
that's where they wanted to go. So that's where we
What's the
went.
what's the
Go ahead.
closest or the closest big city?
Shreveport.
Shreveport. Okay.
Shreveport,
Okay.
Louisiana is like the Minden and Shreveport are like maybe 15 minutes away from each other.
Okay. Cool.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
And then
that's the
how
closest big city.
many generations back in your family goes for Louisiana? Like your great grandparents or great great
Like
grandparents?
if we're looking at my mother's side we're really on both sides of the family. It goes back to my probably my great grandparents. They
Okay.
were all from like we all grew up. My mom and dad were like 5 minutes away from each other when they
Mm,
were young. So my family was in one centralized location pretty much my entire life. Like that whole I-20 like corridor in North Louisiana.
Mm.
Uh my family's from like Arcadia, Simsboro, Grambling, Ruston, just that whole little area is where my family came from. So they're all from that so it like that made family reunions easy, right? Like
Yeah. No
that's
everybody's
kidding.
right there. So
that's so
yeah.
awesome. So they were
Yeah.
only 5 minutes apart. Did they grow up together? Did they know each other?
Well, my mom and dad, yeah, like they started dating when they were young. And I remember hearing stories about how they, met when they were younger and were together for a while. But, like some people do, they drifted apart
Hmm.
and they were not together when I was born. Well, they were together when I was born, but they were like, it was, it started out as they were drifting apart, not wanting to be with each other. And so I as a young man, I grew up in a single parent household. I grew up with my mom. But it was a close community to the point where my mother and grandmother were literally next door neighbors. Like like I could just walk. It was like a duplex, so I could walk
Mhm.
out of my door, walk across the front yard, and go over to my grandmother's house.
That's
So,
awesome.
so that was like it was great for a young kid who, you know, he needed that structure, needed that family unit around him,
Hmm.
to be able to, kind of function in life.
Yeah.
Because my dad was in Houston when I was a kid, so like having that family unit, and my dad's mom was in Ruston, which was like 5 minutes away, so I could see her anytime I wanted to. So it's like
Okay.
Oh.
my family, I was very big on family and still am, from the time I was young to now. And the fact that we were able to have everybody in such a, concentrated area was
Yeah.
beneficial, was very important
Abs-
as well.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
did your parents have any other children together, or are you their only child?
I'm their only child together. Now, my mom
Okay.
and funny story, my mom and dad both had siblings of mine uh before they started dating each other. And they're both the same age. They're both in their 50s. They're both Gen X. They were born a week apart, and this is before they really even started. Like they're not siblings; they're not related to each other in any way, shape, or form. But they were born a week apart.
Oh,
So
Wow.
stroke.
it's crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
So your mom and dad each had another relationship and had children a week apart,
Mm-hmm.
and then they met and had you.
Yeah.
So are those your only two siblings?
My only two blood siblings. Yes,
Blood siblings. Okay. And
I have
then
siblings, but they're not blood related.
okay. And then your dad, did he was he ever in your life growing up, or was he always in Houston?
Well, he was in Houston, but he would come visit all the time. Like I said, my mother and a lot of my family from my dad's side was in Ruston, Louisiana. So he would come and visit on a regular basis, and I would see him a lot. And I would
Okay.
spend entire summers in Houston with him when I was a child.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
that was like those summers were always like kind of a eye opening thing for me, because growing up in small town Louisiana and then going to Houston and spending like an entire summer in this big city with
Yeah.
sports teams and going to the Astrodome to watch the Astros and like watch, because the Rockets were always in the playoffs, so we would watch the Rockets at the house, and it was just always such just a different world for me going to see him, because that's and he had cable, so that's where I would really watch like UMTV Raps and MTV.
Yes.
When I was a kid growing up, like doing the Ed
Oh
Lover
yeah.
dance,
Yeah.
like that's where I would learn a lot of that stuff. So it's like that was a very large part of my upbringing, was even though they weren't together, still spending time with my father in those kinds of instances, especially during the summers.
Well, and it also gave you, like you said, city life, and then you had small town life in Louisiana. So you were
Mhm.
exposed to both and so much family in Louisiana. Now, did he remarry and did you have family also in Houston through that?
He did remarry. He remarried when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and he married my stepmother Connie. And they lived a great life together. I am very appreciative of the home life that I had with my mother and with my father, because they both taught me different things and different principles that you need coming up, especially growing up in the '80s like I did.
Mhm.
And it was always kind of different going to visit with him, because it's the dynamic was different, because I had two stepsisters and a stepbrother, but I don't call them steps. They're my brothers and sisters. And my brother Carlos was always there as well. So it's like a house full of kids all the time during the summer, which is not what I had at home. I had my sister, and
Right.
we always had a good time together. But it was just different. It was a different dynamic, and being able to grow up in a household in households like that was great, man. It was we all that's where I got my love of music. Is from my siblings and from my dad and my mom, because they all love different music and all love different genres. The rock thing I came up with on my own, but that did start in Houston with my dad, because at one point when I was like 12, 13 years old, I had my own room and it had a TV, and I walked into the room, and the first thing I did one day was turn on MTV. And I just like I was already into it, I already loved it, but it was mine now. So I could just sit in the room and watch it whenever I wanted to and just dive into it. So like cuz my family was into like hip hop and R&B and all these things, and then I started watching like Guns N' Roses. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like this. Give me more of this. I want my MTV. So it
That
was like
MTV was good too.
oh,
Yeah.
dude, like you
Yeah,
Prime.
talk
that
about
one was
like
great.
Yeah.
mid to late '80s and early
Yeah,
'90s.
yeah,
That was the absolute heyday and the height of MTV. Like it was
yeah.
just the
Yeah.
best, man. So being able to immerse myself in that kind of stuff was just so cool. and that's really where a lot of that got fostered, you know?
Well, and I don't know about you, but I didn't have a TV in my I mean, just to have a TV in your room was a big deal back then. Like, we didn't
Right.
all have
I
TVs
did.
in
It
our
probably weighed
rooms.
50
Well,
pounds and
that's
was maybe,
Oh, it's
that
huge.
big. Yeah, they were
Like,
huge
it's
and
one of those
heavy.
big old, like, console TVs where it's like, if you try to pick it up, it would probably get
Yeah.
crushed underneath it.
That's
So
why you have
it's
back pain today.
right, right. So it's but
right.
yeah,
To
that
have
was big as a kid. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Yeah, to have
huge.
that. That's a so I mean, it just sounds like in both places you were surrounded by family, surrounded by positivity, surrounded by good modeled behavior, good examples. And then also growing up with a single mom and a sister, I'm assuming that helped you become very in tune with women in general. Because if you live with women and there's only women in the house, you just naturally pick up on certain things.
Oh, 100%. Like it's you have to be sensitive to the female perspective if you grow up in a house full of women, because it wasn't just my grandfather died when I was like 8 years old.
Mm,
So for a large portion of my young life, from like that point till the time I graduated from high school and beyond, I was living and surrounded by women. My mom, my sister, my grandmother, my aunts would come by the house all the time. I had aunts who stayed like around the corner or like down the street or like a town away. And they would come, they all worked at the same university because I'm from Grambling. That's where Grambling State University is.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
mother and two of my aunts worked there.
mm,
So they were around us all the time.
yeah.
So I grew up around women. I'm not gonna ever say that I know women because that's a lie. But but at least I know of women. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
around them. They've taught me a
Yeah.
lot of things. So I was able to kind of tap into my sensitive side, which was always looked at in different ways growing up, because as you know, growing up in our generation, it was always rub some dirt on it. We don't men don't cry, that kind of
Mm,
thing. But I
yeah.
was raised in a household where your feelings were like valued, and your sensitivity was valued. So I, and I carry that with me today. I was crying this morning. So over a
That's
video on Instagram. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
oh, that's
just
funny.
so
I do
dumb.
that all the time.
The big softy.
I'll be in the doctor's office and I'm crying and then I'm laughing, and if they don't know I'm watching TikTok, and it depends on the video, because some of those videos, man, get you. But that's so unusual. That is
Mhm,
so unusual. Most Gen X men's emotional development was completely ignored when they were boys. So the
mhm.
fact that the women in your family created that space for you to feel safe to express your emotions from such a young age, you are ahead of the game. There's no
Yeah.
question.
It was nurtured. It was it was encouraged, and
Amazing.
it's and I again I know that because we joke about it all the time, where boys and even girls in our generation, where if you
Yeah,
like skin your knee, it's like rub some dirt on it, or if
absolutely.
well, I'll give you something to cry about, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. But it's
Yeah.
like you it's important to have structure, and it's important to be able to communicate with your parents, your family, your friends, your emotions and your feelings. And that's something that was nurtured for me from a very young age, and I'm very appreciative of it, because I've been able to use those tools with my kids,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and be able to, what are you feeling. I have my moments where I'm like, man, if you don't stop all this, just chill out. But to
We
be
all do.
actually to be able to actually communicate with them and have those conversations and say, okay, this is what you're feeling. Tell me about it. And I'll tell you how I'm feeling, and we can work it out. So I was given the tools at an early age, and have been able to use those in my life now. And I appreciate my mother and even my father, because he wasn't one of those. Well, at times he could be one of those, gruff fathers, where it's like, hey man, stop. But we were actually able to communicate and have, we'd have those talks. Like your dad will take you in the car, let's go for a ride, and you go driving for like half an hour, and he's just asking you questions about school and life and all these things because guys do it differently. But I spent the
Mhm.
majority of my time with my mother, and she had her way about her of making sure that I was emotionally supported, and I really appreciate that.
What a gift. Honestly,
Okay.
what a gift. And you're one of those Gen Xers, because I know they're out there. You're one of those Gen Xers that you did repeat how you were raised because it was the correct way. You were raised like
Mhm.
for some of us, we tried to do the opposite because we didn't have the childhood we always wanted. So we tried to give that for our children. You're just duplicating it because you were given that.
Right, and I've seen like parents and people because I was a teacher for years, and I've seen parents who try to overcompensate, who
Yes.
they feel like they weren't nurtured, they didn't get the things they wanted when they were kids, so I'm going to give my kid everything they want. And that's not always the way to go. You want to be able to provide for your kids and give them the kind of things that give them a great life, but you can't overcompensate for a childhood that you weren't very appreciative of, because that's not going to it's not going to turn out well for the most part. Now, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's not going to turn out well. So it's important to be able to
Yeah.
balance that, find that happy medium,
Yep.
and recognize, therapy helps and works. A lot of us like shun therapy and don't want to do it, but counseling therapy works big time with helping with
Yeah.
those emotional scars from when you were a child. So it's, Sherry might punch
No,
me for saying some of these things, but that's
no, no. Well, we even talked about her therapy journey on her episode. So she
yeah.
was very open about her therapy. But you're right, because, and I do think a lot of Gen Xers overcompensated to try to make up. And and part of that was healing, trying to heal their own trauma through doing it differently for their own kids. So as much as it was for their kids, it
Mhm.
was for themselves too. And as a result, you couldn't lose the balance. There's no question about that. And I'm going to speak. I can say I probably am one of those for sure. I think I look back now because now I have a 28 and 25. Looking at them, I'm like, I did go overboard in that area, and I tried to
Mhm.
get more balance with my 15-year-old because I learned, but so much of it was from my own situation, and I think a lot of Gen Xers. So I'm just so admire your mom and your dad and your family for what they gave you right from the start. Because again, for our generation, it's very unusual.
Yeah. I was raised by a village, you know,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
my mom had
absolutely.
so much support, and my dad had support at the house as well from his wife and the kid and my brothers and sisters. So it's great to be having that nurture. Now, of course, as a youngest child, is because I was the baby on
Mhm.
both sides. It was like I felt neglected at times, but of course, all younger children and middle children always feel that way. Eventually, where it's like, why aren't y'all paying attention to me? It's
Right.
but it's
Mhm.
but it was like it's blown out of proportion a lot of times, and it's more of I'm hurting in this moment, and I need you to recognize that.
Yeah.
So it's great to be able to look back on those moments now and assess where that came from, because that's the only way that healing can actually take place,
Mhm.
is by
100.
like looking back and assessing and figuring that stuff out.
Absolutely. So, along with this beautiful support system, did you still get to experience that traditional Gen X childhood of don't come home until the lights are on and
Oh,
riding your bike
100.
everywhere?
Oh, are you kidding me? Like, so okay, let's get into it. I was on Threads the other day and somebody posted something about Stranger Things. They were like, so Stranger Things takes place in the 80s. Are you telling me that they really did let y'all just stay out all night and not really worry about where you were? And I was like, are you kidding? We weren't allowed to come home. Like,
Yeah.
some
Yep.
kids were locked out of the house. Like, I had to explain it to my kids the other day. I was like, look, when we were younger, and I've gotten to that age where I say, back in my day, when we
Yes.
were younger, like our parents kicked us out of the house. Like, you come home from school, and unless you were in trouble or something, and you got like bad grades or they got a call from somebody at the school, you came home, you changed into your play clothes, you got out of the house.
Yeah.
Go. Go play with your
Yep.
friends. Go down the street. Go play basketball. Go do whatever. If you need some water, go drink it from the hose. And I will see you tonight. But if you don't have your butt back home by the time the street lights come on, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions for your actions. So, like, go out, get out of this house, but get back in this house when it's time to be
Yeah.
back in this house. So yes, I 100% did, man. I remember getting left in the woods by my friends. Um, when I was a kid, I went to go visit my uncle, and they were like, "Let's go and explore." And we went out in the woods, and I turned around. Next thing I know, I'm the only one there, and I'm looking around. I didn't panic, for the most part. I didn't panic. I looked around. I was like, "Okay, I need to find like the light so I can get back to the house." And I will eventually, in like 30, 40 minutes, I was able to find my way out of the woods and walk back home. And all my friends had already gone home to like eat dinner with their friends. And I get to my uncle's house. He's like, "Man, where have you been?" I was like, "They left me in the woods." Like, well, next time, find your way out quicker. It's time for dinner. So
There's that Gen X survival
Yeah, totally.
survival skills though, is that we had to figure stuff out on our own. And then when you did, you were told, well, next time do it faster.
well,
It's like, could you imagine a kid now in that
oh
situation?
my gosh.
Should
Yes
have a
would be
phone and a
called.
GPS,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
They home in
Yeah.
like 2 seconds. It's not even a thing. And
No, no.
we but we didn't have those things. We didn't if you were lucky if you had a compass. Like we
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have like those kinds of things to be able to like guide our way home. We just had to use those that's why we're feral. And that's why we're still feral
True.
now
It's
because
true.
of the way that we were raised and the things that we had to deal with as children is why we are so ornery now. It's
Yeah.
because of our upbringing. Is we were carved out of
Mhm.
like we were carved out of granite and
Yeah.
had to like find our way through a lot of different situations. And I'm just blessed and thankful that I was able to be a part of those types of situations because it made me the man that I am today.
Yeah, I think Gen Xers, we're so resilient, and it's hard to even explain to someone how deep that goes unless you're Gen X. The
Yeah.
resilience is deep. It's deep. It's how we can get through so many weird things in life, and other generations will look at us like, "How are you still going?" It's like this is just us. We've been going and grinding from the start, and that's just we don't know any different. We
It was
go.
this is not our first rodeo. Like
No.
we've been through so many things in the past that it makes certain things that people will stress out about
Yeah.
now. It's like, why are you worried about this? Like, just go do this.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for you to say. Well, yes, it's easy for me to say because I've already experienced it. I've
Yeah.
lived that life, friend, and I'm trying to help you out. So just do these things, and it's going to. I promise you, it's going to be okay. Just
Yeah.
We all almost died when we were 10.
Yeah.
oh man, like those
Stories.
near death experiences as like a child is we so many. Like there's I okay, so I remember being in junior high and I was with a bunch of people at recess at school. And there was this big tree that everybody would hang out under. And across from this tree is a fence. And hanging on this fence was a cable. Just a random cable. Nobody knew why it was there, what it was powering, what it was connected to. We just knew it was there. So they were like, "Hey, why don't you get on this cable and we'll swing you and see how far we can fling you?" I was like, "Okay, sure." So me, dummy, sit down on the cable, and again, it's right here by this tree. So they flung me, and I hit the ground, and my face was right next to the roots.
Oh,
Like I almost hit the tree. I was like this close from hitting the tree. So
yeah.
I get back on. So they're like, "Okay, that was cool. Let's try it again. Let's see if we can fling you farther." I said, "Sure, why not, dummy?" So I sit down on the cable, like 3 or 4 dudes, just like swinging this thing, and they fling me, and I get even closer to the tree. And before they can convince my dumb butt to get back on it again, the bell rung and everybody had to go inside.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yes, and I may not be here with you today,
Yeah.
if it weren't for that school bell. So
Well,
we're,
you think about
That's
it though, there's
hilarious.
a cable hanging from a tree during recess at school.
Yeah.
Like that's also crazy. That wouldn't be happening now. Someone would have taken care of that cable nowadays.
yeah,
But
that,
not the
but
Gen
that
X.
we live dangerously. We live dangerously, and
Absolutely.
honestly, the adults that we were around were like, "This, it's natural selection. If you're dumb enough to do it, then hey, we're gonna miss you." But
Yeah.
You were so right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for elementary school, did you get involved with any sports or art or clubs in those elementary ages?
I want to say like later on in elementary school. Well, that was no, that was junior high. I don't know if it was elementary school. I didn't really. I did Boy Scouts. I did Boy
Okay.
Scouts when I was in elementary school, and that was cool for the time that I did it. I learned a lot. Learned how to sell. I learned how to sell popcorn. Right. I learned
Yeah, they still do that.
Wait, to do what?
Sell popcorn. They
Oh,
still do
no.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
so-
Yeah.
sold all kind of popcorn.
It's good
Uh,
popcorn.
yeah, we we went camping. It was a lot of fun, man. Like those were the kinds of experiences as a kid, like that were encouraged. Like people were like, "You need to go camping. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna learn how to survive in life, you need to learn how to pitch a tent, learn how to shoot a bow and arrow, and learn how to kayak and canoe." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I need to do." Until I actually did it, and I was like, "Why in the hell am I what camping? No, just send me home. I don't
Well,
want
it's
to do
hot
this."
where you grew up, right? It's hot, humid,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mosquitoes, the
Oh,
whole thing.
dude, like you're camping during the summer. It's like 100
Yeah.
degrees outside. You're just sweating like crazy, and
They
then they
camp
want to
in the
wake you up
summer
at
with you guys? Oh my
oh,
gosh.
dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was harrowing to say the least, especially when they want you to get up at like at when the
Yeah.
sun rises
Yeah.
to go to breakfast. And I'm like, nah, man, if I was at the house, I'd be sleeping in. This is not the way I
Yeah.
want to spend my summer vacation. Like, can we go do something else? And so is that was all like Boy Scouts was the one thing in elementary school that I
Mhm.
participated in that I always really enjoyed that. And like anytime we didn't have a choir per se, but I love to sing. So
Mm.
whenever we had like school assemblies or programs, they would ask me to sing with people. Then that was always cool to be able to do that. But it was more of like Boy Scouts was the one thing in elementary school that I remember like doing. And like, there's some pictures floating around of me on the internet in my like Cub Scout uniform with the hat and the little kerchief that went around your neck and my badges and all the stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
that's something I do look back on fondly as being in Boy
Yeah,
Scouts.
that's cool.
Now, did you take that into junior high or did you stop once you hit junior high?
I stopped once I hit junior high. When I was in junior high, that's when I started doing beta. I was a nerd, like big time. So doing like the junior beta, beta where you like the honor
No.
society. Kind of like
Oh,
it's like
okay.
honor society.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what like National Junior Beta was, and
Okay.
like doing participating in different stuff and going to like conferences where you're like competing with other kids, trying to build towers out of straws and all this stuff. Like that's what I remember about junior high as far as like participating. I tried sports in junior high. I tried. I really did, and it just did not work. I remember I tried out for the football team, and I did like some of this was in my set at the beginning, like during last year. Well, actually, at 24, when we started doing the comedy stuff, was I was in junior high. I tried out for the football team. They told me to come to practice one day. I padded up. They put me at linebacker. They said, "Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna be here, and the running back is gonna come through the line and come for you. You need to tackle him." And the running back came through the line, came towards me. Uh, you could say that I tackled him. You could say that he tackled me. However, your perspective, it depends on your perspective. And after that one moment, I was like, "Yep, nope, I'm good. You can have all this stuff. Uh, Coach, where I need to go to put this down? Where, like over here? You want me to go up there? Okay, cool. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Goodbye to you." Um, I
That was
tried
it. That was
that
it.
was it. That was it for football. I tried basketball, and like they had us doing suicides at the beginning of like tryouts. You know, suicides where you like run
In
to
the summer.
the y'all, my
Yeah.
boy, like
Yeah.
it was the worst, and I did not do well. Like after one run with the suicides, the coach came over to me. He's like, "Hey man, you gonna be my statistician. It's all good. You can go ahead." And I didn't have to leave that one. I was told to leave that one. He's like, "Well, you can still travel with the team. We'll get you a book. You good with math? You good with numbers?
Yeah.
Just go and write this stuff down in the book. But you can get off my court. Like, get out of here. This is
Oh
not
my
good."
gosh, that is
So,
funny. That is funny.
I have a sports question, actually. Did you go to Grambling
sure,
State games as a kid?
I did.
Yeah.
I
What was the
did
coach's
with Eddie
name?
Robinson. Yeah,
It's Eddie Robinson, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. That
winningest coach in NCAA.
yes, yes. That was it. Was growing up around that kind of like legacy and tradition was
Yeah.
huge. You know,
Yeah.
that's being there for some of those monumental moments. Like when he became the winningest coach in college football history, I was there at that game.
Yeah.
Like I was
Cool.
on the field
Wow.
while people were like tearing the goalposts down when he won that game. So it's like being a part of those kinds of like of that kind of winning tradition with like him
Yeah.
and Doug Williams and
Yep.
getting to watch Steve McNair when he played at Alcorn
Yep.
was huge as a kid.
That's
Growing up
cool.
and seeing that kind of thing. You know,
Hey, the
Doug
guy's a
Williams
legend.
coming to your school
Yeah.
and like talking to you after became the first black quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP, I think it was.
Mhm. Yep.
That was that meant a lot to us. You know, being a young black kid in during that time, seeing somebody that went to school in your town that comes back there and like gives back and like does autograph signings and comes to speak to the kids, it means so much. And I still have fond memories of all that stuff.
Have you met Doug Williams?
Have I met him? I
Yeah.
kind of did as a
Yeah.
kid when he came to the school. Like we all like met him and shook his hand and like high
Yeah.
fived and
Okay.
all that stuff.
Yep.
But other than that, I haven't had like real personal interaction with
Yeah.
Doug. I've been around him a bunch, but
Yeah.
he's
No, it's
cool.
cool.
He's cool, dude.
Yeah.
So just to go back to the betas, you called it
Uh-huh.
the betas,
Beta.
the betas. Okay, so I was picturing it was kind of like DECA, where you're competing with like in debate or, but it sounds like you were building things. So was
Well,
it both?
that's like the build. It was both. Like it was you had your debate, you had your speech, you had like different like math stuff and building. You had your math your like filling out the tests, like the assessment thing for competition for like different things. So it encompassed a lot of stuff that as they call it, the smart kids
Yeah.
would always do at school. But now it's like robotics and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's it evolved to those kinds of things. But when I was there, it was like speech, debate, writing essays, all that kind of thing.
How would you say that that early experience, especially with speech and debate, has helped you where you are now, or has helped you along the way? Just starting that skill so early.
Oh, no question. No question. Because like that's one of the things I wanted to do. Like when I was a kid, and I talk about it all the time. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, I wanted to be an actor. So like the speech part of it, the acting part of it was always fun to me because that's the kind of thing that I loved. I love public speaking. I love talking in front of
Mhm.
people. As you can see now,
Right.
that's something that I loved. So being able to do that at a young age really did help forge where I was going next. So yeah,
Yeah.
it 100% helped. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
cool.
Were you always outgoing?
Yes. Um I was always outgoing, but I still had a little bit of the shyness in me. So I wanted to do a lot of stuff, but I would always question it from the beginning. Like, do I really want to do this? What are people going to say? What are they going to think? What will they say about me? And I had to get over that at a very early age. I remember being in high school and trying out for Mascot for the like football, basketball, all the things. We had never had an official mascot at my high school. Like they just picked somebody to put the suit on, and I was one of the first people to actually audition for the school mascot. So they had like other people, they had cheerleaders who tried out. So I would come out after the cheerleaders did their tryout and do my little dance routine that I had made up, and it was just the worst. Like it was terrible. 'Cause I can't, like, I have rhythm, but I can't dance. And think of that combination for a second. I have rhythm,
Yeah.
but I can't dance. No matter what you see online, no matter what you see on my videos, I'm a horrible dancer. And I remember one of my dance teachers when I was in college saying, "Hey, you have inherent rhythm," which was basically her way of saying you suck at dancing, but at least you can beat. Uh, so we had, but yeah, that was an early memory for me. Is like being one of the first, like the first person to actually try out for school mascot, and I had to get over what people thought of me and what guys would say about, me trying out and being a part of the cheerleading squad, because quite frankly, I was the only guy to go to cheerleading camp with them. So hey, look,
Yeah.
Not the worst thing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and especially
not the
when
worst thing in the world, right?
that isn't the worst thing.
What was the
No.
mascot?
Is a kitten, because
Not even a tiger. Or it's a kitten. Yeah.
because we,
Good.
so all of my schools, elementary, junior high, high school, it was on the college campus. So they're lab schools,
Oh, wow.
right? So since Grambling State was the Tigers, all the younger school, there was the kittens,
Mm-hmm.
like the Grambling kittens, the Grambling High School kittens. So
Oh my gosh. So wait, your school was on the college campus.
we were on the campus, yes. Like my junior high and high school were right across the street from the male dormitories, which led to a lot of controversy when I was young.
I'm sure,
Just
right?
just go leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. But that's wow. So was it really nice? Like was your school really nice because it was on the college
No,
campus?
no,
No?
no,
Oh.
no. It was it was like this both of the junior high and the high school were both shotgun houses, pretty much like one hallway all the way down for both of them. They were okay. They weren't the best, but I mean, I loved the experience. I love being
Yeah.
there. Being on that college campus, again, Grambling State University during that time, like the 80s, 90s, was the hub of historically black colleges and universities. Like it was the mecca. They were like what Ohio State is to some colleges and like stuff like that. That's what Grambling State University was to historically black colleges and universities like Grambling, Southern, Hampton, that kind of thing. So it was always culturally just hopping and popping during that time. You had the best musicians, athletes always coming through to just come hang out. Like I remember being a kid and like we were on the campus and the intramural facility was across the street from our school. And somebody told us one day that Eddie Winslow from Family Matters, Darius
Mhm.
McCrary, was at the intramural just there playing basketball. He didn't go to school there, wasn't a student. He was just there hanging out playing basketball. We were like, "What? Why? What is this? Is this a thing? Okay, sure, let's do it." Hey,
That is cool.
my first concert was Ice Cube.
Nice.
Going to see Ice Cube. Ice Cube played it was at the time the same place my high school played football because it was the old college stadium. So, but it had been repurposed for the high school, and that's where we played football, and that's where the stadium was. So I went to the concert, and like we were right next to my school,
What a
which
trip.
was just weird. It's real trippy to be at that kind of concert, and your school is right there.
Yeah.
um, Getting to
What
see different artists as they came up, like Sinbad when he was at the height of his popularity in the 80s, would come and do shows at Grambling, and So that was growing up in that kind of environment. I got to see a lot of what Gen X sees culturally. You know, that's what we like. Dad, Salt, Sinbad, Salt and Pepper, like all these different musicians and artists and bands that were like Two Live Crew would come to Grambling like every month. That
Oh wow,
That's
that's
amazing.
fun.
You were like you were in it at the peak of it at a young age. Like
at
you
a
had
very young
a
age.
very young
Yeah,
age. Like
yeah.
you were it wasn't just watching it on MTV. You're like,
No,
it's at my school.
it was right there in my face at all times, and it was a trip, man, because I would see it on TV, and the next thing you know, it's there, like right up the street from my house.
What a trip. That
So
had to have
it
been so
was crazy.
surreal. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was crazy.
Well, so did you get the kitten? Were you the kitten?
I was. I did. I did. I was for my senior year. I was the school mascot, which some people loved, some people thought was just the dumbest thing ever, but I dove head first into it. I loved it because I love to entertain. Even
Yeah.
from that, even from that time, I just love to entertain, make people smile, make people happy, have fun, and get out of school early. So
Yeah, yeah.
hey,
Yeah, there you
checking all the boxes.
And go to cheerleader
and
camp
you
and
went
be
to
the only guy.
So wait,
Yeah.
you went to cheerleading camp because you were the mascot?
Yes. So they
And
had mascots there too.
okay, so you were like part of the
Did you
cheerleading
talk
team.
yourself into that? Like, hey, I should be at camp, or was it like,
Oh
got
no, that was part of the thing. They were like, "Hey, since you're doing this, no, next
yeah,
week they're going to camp. You need to get ready so you can go to camp." We were there for like a week. There was a wing specifically for like male cheerleaders and like guys who were there, and there were like five of us,
yeah,
and only two of us liked girls.
Okay.
So it was one of those experiences where I was like in this sea of like cheerleaders like all the time. And now they had separate classes for the mascots and what we were doing together, and we always had fun with our stuff. But there were a lot of times where it was like gin pop and everybody was together.
mm,
And I was like pitch and woo to any cheerleader that I saw, like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? I'm single. Hey, what's going on? What you
I'm a
doing?
kitten.
So where you go to school at? Hey, what's going on? It was just my gosh. It
That's
was I almost
amazing.
called whiplash. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So did you guys do any like would you do pep rallies?
Yes. We did pep rallies as as part of the cheerleading squad. We would do the pep rallies, and I would be a part of like the formations they would do and some of the cheers. Sometimes I just get out there and do my own thing. But that mascot suit was like it was the hottest thing ever. Like I'm a complete. First of all, they had just bought a new suit, and it was had the gigantic head and like the fur all over it. And it was just I was like pouring sweat
Yeah,
inside of it every time we would do a game. It was the worst. And when we did basketball, they wouldn't even let me put the suit on because of it was indoors, like it was so hot. So I would do
Oh.
like the head and like a t-shirt and some like sweatpants. And it just looked weird at basketball games. But I got to travel, got to get out of school
yeah.
early, got to hang out with the girls. Wanted
And
nothing to
like
do with me, but I was there.
but was everyone receptive like during the pep rallies or during the games? Like was everyone I feel like whenever I see mascots, people go crazy for mascots. Was it like that where people were just totally into the kitten?
For people who didn't know who I was, yes. For some of the guys at the school who knew me, it's time to mess with this dude. Like
Yeah, totally.
time to
Okay.
throw stuff. It's time to kick him. It's time to do
Mhm.
some of the like we gonna mess with him. But yeah, mostly it was receptive, especially from like the kids. It was always fun to like hang out with the kids and give them high fives. Be like, hey, how you? So it's that was well, I couldn't talk because I was a mascot, but still it
Right.
was a great experience, and I loved it, and a
And
lot of people loved it too.
did you ever get booed?
Not doing that.
Okay.
There was a moment when I was 11. And I've told this story before. There was a moment when I was 11 where we did a pep rally, And everybody who like there were people who were there who knew that I loved comedy and wanted to be a stand-up. You know, it was my
Mm.
dream. So I can't remember whether or not I was asked to do it or I volunteered. Either way, I was put on the program for homecoming one year to do a stand-up set during the pep rally, like 5-10 minutes, and do my thing. Now the only most comics when they're working out new material, they go to an open mic or they go to a comedy club to try to work that stuff out. I had my mom, and your mom is always going to be like, "Oh, baby, that was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny. They gonna love it. Oh, baby, that was so good." And I get up there and bomb. Like I bombed hard. And when you bomb as an 11-year-old in front of your peers, it is traumatic. Like I didn't cry. I didn't, run off and like I took it, with a grain of salt while it was going on, but I did not want to do that again. So it took me until I guess 2024 when I started doing the comedy thing, and then we started doing the GenX comedy tour before I got back on stage and did comedy again.
Wow. It's a
Wow.
long
So
time.
yeah. That was
Wow.
33 years between sets.
And is
Okay.
that even the safe open mic experience or jumping right in?
Well, that was what happened was we I got an email from, and you're talking about like a couple years ago when I got back up there,
No,
right?
what I'm saying is you bombed when you're 11, then you get back into it. Did you have to go into kind of a safe space in a sense to try stuff out, or
Oh,
did you
to
just
do it
jump right
again,
in?
like yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so what happened? What it was, I had gotten approached by a comedy club out on the West Coast to come and do 90 minutes, and I was like, 90 minutes of what? They said we don't care. Like you come and do whatever you want. But I was like,
Wow.
no, if I'm gonna be at a comedy club, I'm gonna do comedy. So I started working with some local comics in New Orleans to get some stuff together. At the time they had a comedy club here, Comedy Club NOLA or something like that. And they had an open mic. So they were like, "Yeah, I will work with you, and then you come to the open mic and try some of the stuff out." And I did a couple of open mics, tried some stuff out that worked out before I actually got on stage and did
Yeah. Okay.
the official thing. But yes, I had to have that safe space, and I didn't have the same experience. I didn't get booed. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
get chased off of the stage. It was very receptive, and it was a great confidence booster for what was next to come.
Yeah.
So before you walked on stage that first time since you were 11, did the time you were 11 flash before your eyes at all?
Of course, like
Mm.
that was always prominent in my mind, thinking about that experience and how it affected me. And I didn't want to have to experience that again. And what it was, it was more of a motivator, like not to let this deter me from
Mm.
living in my purpose and walking my path. So I will never let that go. Not in a way of where I'm like still angry about it or anything, but it's like I want to always keep that in my mind as a reminder of where I was and where I've come from.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because there are some who would have that experience and then it would just deter them from never doing it again. But when the opportunity came, I was excited and ready to take it on, and I'm glad that I did because now we're doing this
Yeah.
whole
Like,
thing.
no,
Yeah.
it's
That's cool.
amazing. Like if
That's
you
cool.
could just go back and tell him, "Hey, trust me, everything's going to be great." You
Yeah,
know?
like, hey man, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all
Yeah.
good. You good to
Exactly.
go.
Well, and even after that experience, you still put yourself out there. I mean, being a mascot, you still got out there, even though it wasn't
Yeah,
comedy. You
right.
didn't shrink. So, and then
Yeah.
through high school, was your main activity the mascot, or did you do anything else?
Well, the mascot was the thing I did in senior year. I participated in a couple of other things. I was in chess club. I did some other stuff while I was in school. in high school anyway. I think I want to say I was a Spanish club too. Barely knew it, didn't know a lick of it, but I knew enough that was passable to be in the club.
Mm,
uh, so I tried to participate as much as I could. You know, I would hang out with my friends a lot because it's guys, high
yeah.
school. We're like traipsing around, and especially as soon as we get licenses, it's like bye, we out of
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of that, but I tried to participate in as many in some of the clubs that I had time for when I was in high school, and I did a lot with my church as well. I was in the choir, so we had rehearsals and all kind of things. I was in the choir in high school, as a matter of fact.
Mm.
So I did that too, and I just music was always a big part of my life, even then.
So you started that in elementary. You said whenever they needed someone to sing, you would participate, and then you continued that through junior high and through high school.
Yes, I did.
That's
Did
very
high
cool.
school, what 4 years of choir in high school. Um, I did. I was part of the baseball team in high school again as well. But that was I was a statistician. Like I
Mm,
tried out for.
okay.
That was another one of the situations where the coach was like, "Yeah, just come sit on the bench and like mark in the book, but you're good to
Mhm.
go." So it's like I was athlete adjacent in
Yeah.
grade school.
Your high school resume was pretty full and pretty well rounded. If
Yeah.
you think about all the different things you're
Better than
involved
ours.
in. Yeah, for sure. For a Gen Xer,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, your high school resume sounds like what kids now do because they do everything now, right? Like
Right.
would you consider yourself an overachiever?
No, not at all. That
Okay.
no.
On
I
paper,
Have you ever been asked that
yeah,
question before?
you're looking like one on paper.
Well, I've never been asked that question before, and I feel silly that it's like to even consider it. But I mean, when you word it like that, then sure. Like I was an honor student. I was 3.0 average throughout high school. Um, I I mean, I loved school. I had a lot of fun doing a lot of the stuff, hanging out with my friends, being a part of clubs.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't love the homework. I got in trouble a lot in high school. I remember specifically walking into math class one day and I was singing a song at the top of my lungs. This is before the bell rung, and the teacher immediately kicked me out of class. I was like, class hasn't even started yet. How can you kick me out? The bell hasn't even rang yet. She sent me to the principal's office before class even officially started.
Mm,
And so I was a talkative kid, which would get me in trouble a lot as well. Um, and I hung out with other honor students who were like kind of like down, against the man, which
mm,
really is more of like against the principal.
yeah.
So but we spent a lot of time in his office though, so we got to know each other real well.
You
That's
had like
funny.
both worlds. You did have this overachieving side to you. I'm gonna inform you you did because I'm listening to all the things you did.
Yeah.
And but then you also had this like Gen X rebellious side doing all the things. Like, were you ever in a field passed out drunk like so many of us and your parents thought you were somewhere else?
In high school, no. I
Okay.
was not in a field passed out drunk. Not in a field passed out drunk. I did a lot of stuff in high school, but it was never to the point where they couldn't find where they always knew where I was.
They always
They
knew
just
where
didn't
you
know what
were.
they knew where I was. They didn't know what I was doing. Like they
Right.
knew where I
Okay.
was, but they
Yeah.
didn't know what was
I
going
got a
on.
lot of ants.
Yeah,
I got a
you
lot
had
of
So
a lot of
yeah.
ants on him.
eyes on you.
Yeah.
So like
Ate
yeah,
my baby.
cause like we had like I told you like half of my family worked on the campus,
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
had access to me at all times of the day. So
True.
I couldn't just like do no any dumb stuff because they're like right across the street.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to kind of keep it together in those instances. But again, like I was hanging out with other honor students, but they were not honorable, I guess you should say.
Mm,
So
interesting.
we were
Okay.
all like a lot of the stuff that I participated in high school was excuses to get out of class. To
Okay.
be
Mm.
to be honest, like the mascot stuff, doing the sports stuff, like I was leaving school early all the time and traveling to places and doing all these things. I was there's what was it? We got I would do well on projects like social studies science projects and um go to the state science fair, the local science fair, all these things, and stay in hotel rooms and hang out with other honor students who were like always out of school. So we did a lot of that because it was an opportunity to get away, but we were still using our gifts and talents in order to be
Yeah.
able to do it.
I
So
mean,
I understand I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree,
Famous gaming.
but it's
that
like
you're
it's
putting in
like
the work. You're putting
Yeah.
in the work and you're getting
put in
results.
the work,
I mean,
right?
you were hustling. That's a future entrepreneur or something. You were figuring it out.
That's
So
fun.
It's all it was all a hustle. High
it
school
was
was the hustle.
all hustle. It was
Yeah.
all hustle. So did you always have did you have college on the radar? Was that something you were raised that you were automatically going to go to school after high
Well,
school?
we were like I went to high school on a college campus,
So it
so
was
it
just
was like
automatic.
so it was automatic. Like we were
Yeah.
told as seniors, like if you like go to the college, then you're especially if you're an honor student, you're gonna get a free. You're gonna get in one, two. You're
Mhm.
probably gonna get basically a free ride if
That's
you go.
amazing. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I ended up going to Grambling State for my BA and in theater again
Mm,
because I was that was something I was interested in wanted to do. Because chicks dig actors.
yeah,
Um,
that's
but
true.
but I ended up losing. I had a scholarship and lost it. I want to say when I was a sophomore because I missed a lot of class and wasn't getting the grades I was supposed to get. And because I was hanging out with my friends, I was in the student union every day, and I'd be like, "Oh, well, I don't want to go to class. I'm just gonna hang out and play cards with you guys." And just sat there and like played cards and pool and lost my scholarship and then had to get student aid and now I have to pay loans, all this different stuff. But it was that experience was just amazing to me. It was mesmerizing because the again, Grambling State University at that time was like the height of black culture.
Mhm.
So you would have celebrities just popping up on campus and hanging out. And you would just be like, okay, cool, let's hang out then. And being around all of that at that time was huge to me. And it was a big part of like putting this, I don't even want to say it like putting the stars in my eyes,
Mhm.
but like seeing all this culture and all these people who came up from this school and have like become entrepreneurs and actors and musicians and big time athletes. And, I want to do that. I want to get to there one
Mhm.
day. And that was a big driving factor for me moving from high school to college because college, it was never a thing where it was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to college. That's that at that time you were going to college. Like, hey, you graduated from high school, so guess what? You're going to college. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And but that wasn't the time where I didn't want to go. Like it was like that place is cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to go there. Let's do it. And it was an amazing experience.
Did you live in the dorms?
No,
So you lived
I
at
did not.
home and drove into school?
Yes, like it was right there. Like we, I stayed at home for a while. Then I got an apartment after I want to say junior year, and
Okay.
because my mom didn't want me to leave, she's
Yeah.
like, "You can just stay with me for as long as you want to. You don't have to go." I was like, "Mom, I'm a man. I have to go out on my own and do my thing." And
Yeah.
going out on my own was moving 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll come
but
out
I'm
for dinner.
but right, like let me know what you cooking, and I'll come get a plate. But it was just the idea of having your own apartment and having your own place when
Yeah.
you're in college was really what it was about for me, and being able to have that experience where we had the parties and had the apartment and had the people coming over and doing all the things and being your own person and not having to worry about sneaking back in the house at 1 o'clock in the morning after you've been partying all night.
Yeah.
It was, so it was, and that's another reason why I lost my scholarship. But it was still a great experience, and But that was always something that I wanted to do. It was always it was implemented in me from the time I was could start thinking about going to college, but there wasn't a time where I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like
Right,
that was
right.
I wanted to be there, and I was happy to be there.
And then with theater, did you perform a lot through those 4 years in school?
Yeah, I was one of the featured. Like I want to say, from the time I was a freshman to the time I was a senior, I may have missed one show.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like I would get cast in every show that was available. I may have missed one, and that was by choice because I missed it because but there's two because there was one show that we did that was an all female cast,
Mm.
so I would work the lighting for that show. And there was another one where I was like, yeah, I'm just not even going to audition because I want to get ready for like the next thing. That was like when I was a senior and I've been in all the shows. I was like, yeah, I'm not even auditioning for this show. I'm gonna let y'all do it. I'm gonna come hang out, but I'm good. Y'all go do that.
Was it
So it's go ahead.
was it competitive? Because there's a
Yeah.
bug there, right? So I imagine that was pretty competitive.
Yeah, it was always competitive, especially for certain roles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't always get the lead. Like most of the time I was a supporting cast member. I wasn't
Mhm.
always the lead male. Which that kind of stung then, but I look back on it now and it's like sometimes you need those utility guys that are going to make sure that like that are going to be solid and you need them
Yeah.
to be in that role.
Mhm.
I was fine with not having a lead because it was a lot of responsibility and more lines and
Mhm.
I had other stuff to do with my time.
Yeah.
Now, there were a lot of shows where I was the lead actor, the lead male, and it was a lot of responsibility and uh I always was eager to shoulder that responsibility because I wanted to prove my worth and show what I could do on stage. And I had so much fun, doing theater and like rehearsing and doing these shows. And it was just, I look back on it so fondly
Well, and it's
because,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't it because it's also like a family atmosphere? All of you
Yeah.
theater, the everyone working together
Like more supportive.
I
like a team?
I I was so supported from the beginning. Like I remember specifically the first audition that I went to, like I had messed up with my major and majored in mass communication when I really wanted to major in theater.
Mm.
So, but it was all in the same building. So which kind of messed me up when I was getting ready to graduate, and I had to graduate during the summer because it didn't get corrected when it was supposed to. Not my sponsor. I'm not
Your advisor.
my advisor. Thank you.
Yeah.
My advisor didn't pick up on it, and neither did I.
Oh, that's so
So
frustrating. I'm sure your mom
right.
isn't happy about that.
Well, I mean, she was cool because the curriculums were kind of similar between mass
Mm.
comm and theater because it was all in the arts building.
Yeah.
So it's just like one or two classes that I needed to take in order to get the degree. So instead of graduating in the spring, graduated during the summer, which for me was totally fun.
Okay.
I remember that first audition, nobody knew who I was. Like all these people that were in the room to audition were all theater majors. And then I come walk in, they're like, and they're looking at me like, why would it okay. Then I auditioned and they thought I was good. And I was, which meant a lot to me. I was like, these people have been acting for years and they all think I'm a good actor. And I've never done this before, not professionally, not in school, none of this. We didn't have like theater in my school, in my high school. So I couldn't like do plays or anything like that. So that was really my first experiences when I got in college. And like like the guys were pulling me aside after auditioning, like, "Hey man, you want to go get some dinner or something? You want to go get lunch? Let's talk. You did a pretty good job." And I got cast in that first show, and we were off to the races. Like auditioning for every show, getting cast in every show, like being there, being able to participate and hang out and do a lot of this stuff. It meant a lot to me that these people who I at the time was looking up to because they were doing the thing that I wanted to do, saw something in me, saw value in me, saw talent in me. And I was able to parlay that into like just doing every show possible, which was funny because like people on campus, a lot of people didn't know who I was, but they knew my characters. So they would see me on campus, they'd yell out my character
Oh,
name,
funny.
which then that just felt I felt like a big time actor at that point. They're like, hey,
Yeah,
thank you for coming to the show. I appreciate that.
yeah.
All right. I'll be doing another one next month. See you then. All right.
Kind of found your people.
Well,
Right.
also, I mean, so compared to what you're doing now, so you started getting familiar with that, where people recognize you, people, know you as your character or whatever. That's at a young age. You were already getting exposed to that.
Yeah.
Have any of your fellow um, theater, I don't know what you guys call each other, like
Alumni.
alumni, thank
Yeah.
you. Have they come to any of your shows?
Have they come? No, they haven't come to my shows. They get the chance to like a lot of them are on the West Coast now.
Mm,
So I haven't done I did like you know what? No, that's actually not true. My very first stand-up show that I did in San Diego, one of my former co-stars came to the show.
that's
She's
cool.
living in LA and she's doing voice work. She's done some stuff for Netflix and like other things. She drove down to San Diego to come see the show, which meant a lot to me,
Yeah.
because that was a part of my life that I'm just very thankful for and appreciative of. And she was actually the person shared my first on stage kiss with.
Wow.
So that made my wife feel weird when she came to the show. I was like, baby, it's nothing. Like, there's nothing between us anymore. It was a stage thing.
We're acting.
It's okay. We're acting. It's acting. Thank you.
Yes,
But
acting. There you go. That's awesome though. And aren't you guys
yeah.
going out? Aren't you hitting California this year?
We are. We're gonna have our first California show coming up this year, and that means a lot, man. Like
Yeah.
being able to get out. Like there are some states that we haven't hit yet that people have been asking for a lot, and Texas and California are the two at the top of the list, and we're actually hitting both of them this year. So I'm excited about that because we get to hang out with the Cali peeps, and maybe my co-star will come to that show too,
Yeah,
and
that's
Yeah.
my wife and her can fight.
there
We
you
Just
just
film it.
duke it
That'd
out.
be great.
there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic content. Fantastic content.
100%.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking about the fact that you didn't have theater in high school and didn't perform and then went for it in college. Like that again, what drove you? Was it just entertainment? Do you just love entertaining people so much? Do you think that was the constant drive?
So, well, you guys will get this. I grew up watching shows like SNL and In Living Color.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like and watching that stuff and growing up watching that stuff, that's what I wanted to do. Like I was in the mirror as a kid making faces like Jim Carrey. Well, not a
Mhm.
kid during that time. That was like late 80s, early 90s. So like kind of kiddish.
Yeah,
But like it was a huge like the huge influence on me is shows like that and like growing up with like TV and watching these shows and saying, I want to do that. I think I could do those things. And I always wanted to entertain, always wanted to, get up in front of people and make them smile, happy and laugh and all these things. So when I got the opportunity to do theater in college, it was I that was going I was all in. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. Let's make it happen. And there were those moments where it was kind of I was talking about this the other day. I did a show where I had to be the bad guy, and my mom had never seen me play like a mean person because I'm just the nicest person in real life. So when when she sees that, and I get off a stage and we're in the lobby, and I go talk to my mom, and she's like, "Yeah, you can't come home tonight. You're gonna have to like find some place else to stay or maybe sleep on the couch because I am so upset with the way that you treated that girl. Like, Mom, I was playing a character. It's a part. It wasn't me. I don't care. You don't treat people like that. You're not coming home. And,
That shows
and that
how good you
always,
are.
yeah, that's always sticks out in my head with the way that she was like that. One of the things about live theater and being on stage is that you know people get enthralled in it because it's right there in their face. It's visceral. It's not on a screen. It's like you can reach out and touch it. So there's a lot of emotion behind it. I did a play when in my senior year. We did a collaboration with Louisiana Tech, which is a town that's college is like 5 minutes away in Ruston, and it was called Master Harold and the Boys. It was about apartheid in South Africa, and this guy who worked for a young white child. And at one point in the play, the kid spits in my face, and we did this on Grambling's campus, and it was like an all black audience. So you can imagine
Mhm.
how their emotions were riding high at that moment. So there are people mad at me because I let him do it. And of course, there are people mad at him because he did it. Like he had to wait for everybody to clear out before he could walk to his car after the show. Uh, we did it at Tech and it was fine, but at Grambling it was a completely different animal. So it's like that's one of the things that I loved about theater and I still do is that you get those emotional and visceral reactions
Yeah.
from people and it just grabs you. So that's something that happened quite a bit while I was doing it.
It's raw. It's
Yeah.
so
That's
raw,
actually
you know?
intense.
And well,
Really.
yeah, and but
Yeah.
it's also that connection is it probably intoxicating, the whole energy of the experience with the audience, and it's gotta be intoxicating just to have it
There's
right
nothing
there.
like it.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah.
like it,
Do
man.
you enjoy the theater? Like, will you go if you're in New York, will you hit Broadway and do that kind
Oh,
of thing?
100 we got snowed in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago, like right before the new year. And we couldn't catch a flight out of Buffalo. So a couple of friends of ours they live in New York City, so we drove down with them to catch a flight out of LaGuardia. So we
Yep.
were like, while we're in town, why don't we try to catch a show? We went to go see the Book of Mormon
Oh,
on
okay.
Broadway. And
Yeah.
it's a fantastic musical. It's so much fun. And so we're in line for the Book of Mormon. We're walking up this long line, people trying to get in, and one of the guys who's working there sees me. He goes, "Professor, what's going on, man?" I was like, "Oh my God, really?" He's like, "Hey, how many you got with you?" I said, "It's 3 other people and me." He's like, "Come on," and got me to the express line so I could go ahead and get into the building. So it's like it's moments like that where it's like, God, man, like it comes full circle because for a theater kid like me who always dreamed of like being on stage and being in front of the people to be at a Broadway show and have people like, hey man, I love your stuff, I love you, I love your it's such a surreal moment and very full circle. And it was a really cool like thing.
That's
That's
really
Yeah, I've been
really
to a couple
cool.
of shows on Broadway. Like we went to
that's
see Hamilton last year and it's great.
that's really amazing. I'm thinking about, you know, little you singing in elementary school, little you getting booed at your first comedy attempt, and then but sticking with it, doing choir, the mascot, and then doing all these shows in college and starting to get recognized on campus where people would be like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, to where you are now. It's like it's really
Yeah.
especially for a Gen Xer to be where you're at in your life now because the people older than us started slowing down by now in their lives,
No,
right? But Gen X isn't doing that, and you're
no.
such an amazing example of that. That
I don't think
you're
he's peaked
you
yet.
haven't even peaked yet,
Yeah.
you know. But it's still tied so much to all this work you put in just in the beginning of your life, you know,
Yeah.
and you haven't even peaked at this point in your life.
It's crazy when you look at it in like a linear time frame and look from where everything started out to where it is now. And the fact that you hear about some of these people like Morgan Freeman who started really late in life and got big later in life. And like now you look at myself and John and Sherry and Kelly, and we're all at this stage in our lives where we're still like going this way. Like it's still trending upwards, and there's
Yeah.
still a lot more to do. And it's amazing when you think about it, and uh it can be overwhelming and frightening because there have been, especially with a show coming up in a couple of weeks, there have been mornings where I wake up and I'm like, the first thing on my mind is, oh my God, did I write the right joke? And is my stuff good enough? Are people gonna like it? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure that comes along with it as well. But we were built for this, man. Like the way
Yeah.
that we were brought up and how we came up, we were built for these kinds of moments, and I'm so excited about what's next.
Well, there's no question though that you and Sherry and Kelly and John are an inspiration, especially for our generation, because I think you, and we'll get to that part, this part, current part of your journey, but I just think you're such a great example of look what you can do. Look what you
Mhm.
can do, and it's just so inspiring. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so you talked about real quick how you have the show coming up in Detroit and you wake up some mornings like um have you ever had imposter syndrome?
Yes. Oh,
Now
yes.
has that presented more later in life or did you have it during those early well, if you had it during those early years, was that more just adolescent based, like just being naturally insecure as a kid and stuff or
Yeah. Like I think during the time where I was in like junior high, high school, elementary school, and even a bit in college as well, it was more of a that was a natural response to how things were going. Cause sometimes it would get crazy and I would just, especially, doing the theater thing, it's like, am I supposed to be up here? Like, should this be another person's spot? Did I take something? Do I deserve to have this role? And now it's a lot. Social media is so volatile where the numbers aren't always consistent. So you may have a video that gets millions of views and you may have one that like bottoms out. And you say to yourself, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do to fix it? Am I done? Is this over? Or is this it? Can I pack it up? And there are a lot of times because like later in life, for me, I've dealt with imposter syndrome and body dysmorphia.
Mm,
So it's like I have this self image of myself where it's like, why would anybody want to like pay attention to me? Why would anybody want to like who the hell wants to come see me on stage? Like who wants to come watch me do comedy? Like all you do is dance around like a fool online. Like nobody wants to come see that. And then you're ugly. So so it's like you there have been times where my self-esteem has gotten the better of me. And we have these conversations all the time, my wife and I, about how nobody can beat Nick up like Nick can beat himself up.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people who deal with the same thing.
mm,
But part of my purpose in what I do in social media is to be able to be a light in a world that sometimes can be super, super dark. And I get messages every day from people who are like, man, I'm struggling. I'm hurting. I have PTSD. I'm sick. I have these issues and problems. But you help me through it. You help me to get through these things every day. And I know I can go to your page and get a laugh, smile. And I'm very appreciative of you for that. And that's what helps me to push and keep going is knowing that I'm not doing it for myself. There's never been a time on social media where I was doing it for me. I'm always doing it for people that are watching, like that person that's behind the camera that's coming to the page and coming to watch the content because they need that ray of sunshine. They need that light. and that's what pushes me all the time. Like, so I can worry about my stuff, and I try not to, but it's hard to not be able to worry about your own stuff because you live with it every day.
Mhm.
So you have these issues that come up, and then you wonder, is like, what am I going to do, or how's it going to work, or am I even going to be able to accomplish this or make this happen? And the bigger it gets, the more pressure it gets mounted on.
I can
But
imagine.
it's important to remember that I'm a believer. I'm a believer in God, and it's important to know that I'm not doing it alone. I'm never doing it alone. I always got somebody with me.
Mhm.
So that's what has helped me a lot in times where I'm doubting myself, where I'm down on myself, where I don't think that I'm enough, and I'm reminded that I am. I'm beautiful and wonderfully made exactly as I am. And there are other people out there who need me and need other creators like me, need us, need the Gen X takeover guys, like need all of us because we are helping them through some tough times and tough moments.
Absolutely. I'm also a believer, and I'm a big, God will put you where he wants you to serve. And so you're serving. And as much as you're an inspiration to your fans, your followers, your listeners,
Mhm.
you're also finding inspiration from them when you need it. So it's a
Right.
beautiful relationship, if you think about it.
That's what I try to tell them all the time. Like people will say, "Man, thank you for." I'm like, "No, thank you," because
Yeah.
you guys help me as much, if not more, than I help you. Because
Yeah.
if you weren't here, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And
Right.
I've said since the beginning, if you keep liking it, I'll keep doing it. And they haven't stopped liking it, so I haven't stopped doing it. I just,
How, how do you deal with the weight of that? Right? Is that it's sort of a yin and a yang, I guess, right? Because there's
yeah,
pressure there to
yeah,
deliver, I guess, right?
right. It- One thing, a piece of advice that I usually give creators who are asking me, like, how do you get to that point? Like, what is it that you do? I just tell them to be themselves and know that your people will find you. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself is that, just be who you are. Your people will find you. And that has been, you know, that has helped me a lot throughout my career in social media is just, your people are going to find you. So don't worry
Do
about
you
dips. Don't worry about worries.
Yeah.
do you take on more pressure though around I've got a lot of people, you get these wonderful messages, right? Hey, you got me through the day, man. You got me through the week, the month. And that feels like that could you're taking that on in a sense. Now you've really got to deliver. That's more what I was thinking of. How do you deal with that side of it?
Well, there's a lot of weight to it. And I
Yeah.
just, I, I remind myself of my purpose
Yeah.
and why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and the pressure, there's pressure that's going to come with whatever lane you decide to drive in, whatever career you decide path you decide to take. You're going to have pressure. If you're working in an office, you have deadlines to meet. If you're working,
Mm.
I worked as a teacher. As a teacher, you have the pressure of I need to teach these kids, and how am I going to reach them? Like, what am I going to do to be able to reach these kids so that they can lead, uh, you know, wonderful lives and like have great careers ahead of them. And I try to say, I tell myself all the time, well, actually, I talk to God all the time, and when I do, like he's like, just stay on the path. You're doing what you're
Mhm.
doing. Like keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. It's going to be okay. You are doing the right thing. Just keep
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward, and that's what you have to do. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and keep moving forward, and understand that yes, there are a lot of people watching. There's a lot of pressure that goes along with it, but you have prepared yourself for this moment. You have been prepared for this moment, I should say. And to just don't don't stress. Don't sweat
Yeah.
it. It's okay. You know, just love on people. Love on people and they'll love on you. And
Well, and
that's
I think you
yeah.
alluded to the authenticity, being yourself, being authentic. You can't go wrong
Mhm.
with that because as long as you're being authentic, being true to yourself, then you are following along your path that's been destined for you, that God's put you on. So you really can't go wrong. It's
Yeah.
going what's happening is what's supposed to happen. So,
Right.
uh, you
It's your
know,
purpose.
yeah, and I find that helps with imposter syndrome
Mhm.
is having faith. Faith is a
It's
big counterbalance to imposter syndrome.
yes. Yes. Faith, being authentic, they all go hand in hand. Like,
Yeah.
people can tell. One of the things that has helped me get followers and likes and shares and all these things, that I'm who I am. Like, who
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am, the person I am has never changed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like what you see on screen, the dancing in the grocery store, the rocking out in the car, like all these things are things I do on a regular basis. I'm just filming it. It's
Right.
just who I am. And it's important to be authentic. And when you are your authentic self, and when you are putting yourself out there like that, that I think answers your question of
Yeah.
alleviates a lot of the pressure, because it's not like you're trying to put on for people. You're not
Right.
out
Yeah.
there tap dancing for the man,
Mhm.
or just being somebody
Not
that
a
you're
show.
not in order to maintain. Yeah, yeah. It's not a
Yeah.
show, it's not a lie. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
you put some out there just to keep, the socials afloat, or to make, for people to think that you're something, that you're just doing what you're doing because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're able to do that, then a lot of the pressure is alleviated because you don't have to worry about putting on an act. You're just
Yeah.
being who you are.
Right. And then you have stamina and endurance because you're not draining yourself by curating something that's not authentic. It takes more
Mhm.
energy to curate inauthenticity
Yeah.
and to fit into some sort of box or conform for a result than it does to
Yeah,
just be yourself. You can't
right. It's
the
just
staying power isn't going to be there if you're constantly creating something that's actually not real,
and if
you
you
know.
do that, then there's more pressure that's put upon you,
Yeah.
because you have to keep up this facade.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to keep up this fake mask of what you believe people should think that you are, rather
Yeah.
than being who you actually are, and letting the people who will understand who you are come to you.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the things that's wrong with social media right now, is that there are too many people who are out there being something that they're not. And rather than just trying to be who they are and let their people find them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
100%.
that'll
I
never be
agree.
who I am, though. That'll never be
Yeah.
who I am.
So after college, did you utilize your theater degree in some way, or was that I mean, obviously you're still doing that now, but did you utilize it right after college, or what path did you choose?
Well, I tried to. I went out on auditions and tried to find, like, I did a lot of like outdoor theater shows in college, especially in grad school, and that was cool for the time because it was just summer. Like, we would do that stuff during the summer, and I tried to do auditioning and trying to do stuff, but then around that same time is when my mother's health started failing.
Mm,
Um, and that's I ended up having to come back home well, I ended up not having to, but ended up coming back home
yeah.
to take care of my mother. And I got a job. I moved into her house. I helped her with her things. And that was before she passed away. So I was back home in North Louisiana. Um, I ended up teaching at the college, same college I went to, in the same theater department that I was in, as a professor. That's why I got the nickname of the
That's really
professor,
Wow.
cool.
because I worked at Grambling State, and taught there for 7 years in the speech and theater department. Um, and so technically, yes, after I got out of college, I did use my degree, but I used it to teach. Um, and that was a great experience too, um, just being able to use what I learned to help the next generation of actors and uh, uh, s- uh, public speakers to and people who did not think that that was something that they would be into, helping them to find interest in it. Because I taught a lot of intro to fine and performing arts classes with students who just needed it for a college credit. So you had football players, athletes, people who just needed it for whatever major they were in, and they found a love of theater through the classes that we were teaching.
Did they stick with it after that class? Did you have students who stuck with it?
There's one that I know did, because he's acting professionally now. He's been in movies and stuff like that. So it's good to know that
Really? Would we know who
you
it
were
is?
able to. I don't think so. His name is Orlando Valentino. He's not super big, but he's been in like a couple of like smaller films and had some guest starring roles on TV, like some walk on stuff. So
That's
he's
cool.
so to know that you've had that kind of influence on people is just it's amazing, man. There's nothing like it.
That's
I'm just so
awesome.
proud of him that he
Yeah.
stuck with it, and that's something he really dove into, wanted to do. And
I love that we
I
just did a shout out for him too. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
cool.
shout out to Orlando,
I
my
love
man.
that. In a way, it's kind of how you talked about people coming back and giving back, people that have made it and came back to your school and would give back and inspire. You kind of did that in a way too. You came back
Hmm.
and in your own
Yeah,
way inspired these students. So you did that
yeah.
for 7 years?
Yes, I did that as Grambling Say for 7 years, and then towards the end of it, my heart had always been with teaching kids, like younger kids. So I went back to school and got my degree in education, and started teaching elementary school, which
Wow.
was a big stark contrast to what I was doing. I
Yes.
remember specifically going back and teaching these kids, like getting a job and teaching these kids. I started teaching fifth grade first, and for the first 2 weeks, I would just like lay in bed and like just sob. I'm like, my God, I don't want to go do this again, because these kids were like running all over me, man, and I had to like find my voice and find my footing. And I had great support system with the other teachers who were at the school, who I become befriended and become cool with, and they helped me to kind of find my footing and my voice in the classroom. So that was a just a crazy experience, because I did that for 7 years too, teaching
Wow.
elementary school. So yeah, that was when I started like getting big on social media. Was during the time that I was teaching elementary school, because the pandemic was right in the middle of all of that.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it was crazy, the whole thing.
So how did you so during this time, so you taught at your college for 7 years and you were also taking care of your mom and then you went back to school and kept
Mhm.
teaching. Was her health still suffering through this whole time?
Well, that my mom passed away before I started going before I went back to school to get my degree. Like, so
Okay.
what happened? How it happened was I came back home, started taking care of my mom. I was working at a Chili's during that time. Just looking for I did Chili's and I was working for ESPN Radio, all at the same time. And during that time, I was waiting on a table, and it was a couple of people who were um, working in the theater department at Grambling, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I needed a job. I was taking care of my mom and all these things." They're like, "No, you come by. We have a new department head. Bring him your resume. I'm pretty sure he can find something for you." And I started out as a costume designer, and I knew nothing about costume design. But they needed somebody to do costumes for the shows, so I stepped in and did it. And then they brought me back uh, as an adjunct instructor. So, well, that was I was an adjunct during that time. And then they brought me back as a full on instructor slash professor during that time. that was after my mom had passed away. So my mom passes away. I'm working at the school, and then I meet my first wife while I'm doing that, and then I go back to school after that and get my degree in education, and that's when I go back to teach elementary school for that 7 years. So
Okay.
that's when all that happened.
What
Okay.
subject did you teach in elementary school?
English language arts. So basically speech in
Yeah.
English.
To fifth graders.
Yes. Fun
And that
times.
that's draining. That's right. I got
Yeah.
That's a tough
I
age,
taught
man.
briefly, and I remember thinking there's no way I can do this and come home and raise children because I'm giving all my energy during the day. I was depleted whenever I walked in the door. Depleted
Right. Yeah.
completely.
It was always a lot to be there that whole day teaching the kids. And then when you like pour yourself into education, like it's more like you're never gonna get paid enough because you're there pretty much the entire day and night. Like I would get there 6 something in the morning, come into my classroom, get prepared, go out on duty, help the kids get across the street, or work in the hallway, or do something like that. Then I'd go in and do my class and be there all day. And then after school, I would help with like after school extracurricular stuff, or I would like work in my classroom and get ready for the next day, or get ready for the week. And prepare. And then at one point, I started doing content in my classroom. So I was there like all day, then I would leave and go home and just pass out, and
Yeah.
like I'd eat dinner and then go to sleep, then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. So
That's relentless.
it was very draining.
It
Yeah.
yeah, it takes all of your energy. How old was your mom when she passed away?
Ah, gosh, that's a good question. I do not remember her exact age. I want to say she was in her early 50s when
She
she
was
passed.
young.
Wow.
Yeah, she had complications with diabetes. And it was like it was rough, man. Like she was in the hospital for for a while, and like going in and out of like facilities, and it was tough. Like she was at home first, and then she moved. They moved. We could not do anything more for her at home. So she ended up having to go to a hospital, and then she was in an assisted living facility, and it was rough, man. It was rough to
And
go through and watch her go through that.
I can't imagine because she was also just so young. Back when we were 15, we thought that was old. And now we know it's
Right.
not.
No, it's not at all.
So are
Yeah.
any of your aunts still alive? Her sisters?
My aunts are still alive. One is still back at home in Louisiana, and the other one is in Texas. My uncles are almost all gone. I think there's one left. So yeah, it's rough, man. Like when you deal with that on both sides of the family. I lost my dad last year.
No, geez.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
thank you. It's tough, man, when you lose family members like that, that you grew up around and that helped raise you. And that's something that that as a generation, a lot of us deal
Yeah.
with our older family members who like raised us, and we came up with passing away, and it's a lot to deal with. But I know, like, we had a conversation, my wife and I, on Monday about my mom, and she, my wife is very, she's very in tune emotionally to both herself and myself, and she was talking about how she wished my mom could still be here to see, the stuff that I'm doing, and she wished that she could have seen my rise and success, because my dad got to see some of it. He was around for like a lot of the high moments,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's crazy to think about how but my mom was so supportive of my career and everything that I was doing, and she was always supportive of me wanting to go into like acting and entertainment and theater and things. And she would come to every show that she could, and she was just my biggest cheerleader. So I know that she's watching everything that's going on right now, and she's looking down and smiling and proud.
I bet she would
100%.
be super proud of you, especially knowing
Absolutely.
that she kind of scolded you for being the mean guy. To now see you making people laugh, she'd be probably super proud. Yeah,
Bringing joy
yeah.
to
She'd be
people.
so happy
She love
about it.
that. She
Yeah.
would love that.
She would approve.
Yeah. When we came to your show in Fort Lauderdale, we sat next to your brother.
Yes, my brother Charlie.
Yes.
He is my he is my technically my stepbrother. But again, I don't subscribe to any of that.
Right.
And him and Rosie, I know he was sitting there near you guys, him
They
and
were
his
so
wife.
nice.
Yeah,
They're just the best people, man.
great
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
I have a very supportive and very loving family that, anytime they get an opportunity to come to something that's, where I'm around, where they are, they're there. Like my sister, um, came to our show in Atlanta that we did back in, I want to say the beginning of 2025, in Atlanta. That was about a year ago around now, as a matter of fact. And that was surreal for me because like that was my sister, but my mom. So she
Mhm.
had a front row seat to a lot of that stuff. So to
Yeah.
see the reclamation project and to see everything come back full circle for her and for all of us was just a very emotional experience. And I was so glad to and I got to give her flowers. I had to stand up during the show and told everybody these stories. Like when I was a
that's
kid,
cool.
growing up with her, like we had different fathers, so we didn't necessarily look alike. We both had traits of our mother, but we kind of look a little bit different. And she's a lighter shade than I am. So my friends would come over to the house and see her picture on the wall and be like, "Who is that?" That's my sister. She's like, "No, there's no way. She actually looks nice. Now, how is that? How are you related to her?" So you wonder why I have body dysmorphia problems. Look back at high school. That's those
Oh my
guys.
gosh.
But
Oh my gosh.
but that was always like the funny thing with me and her was like, we're close now. I was just talking to her the other day. She's just so proud. She wears the merch all the time and sends me pictures of her wearing it. She's just so proud, and I feel like that's the same way my mom would be if she was still here.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You mentioned when you were teaching elementary around COVID time is when you started content creation.
Yes.
What
Uh,
motivated that? Like, how did that even happen?
well, what had happened was, I was teaching and I was hosting karaoke, where I was living in Monroe, and the pandemic hit, and I was at my last karaoke right before everything was getting ready to shut down, and somebody came by, a friend of mine, my friend Ricky. He was like, "Hey, I work with this company that is doing enrichment for kids when all this shuts down because the schools are getting shut down and everybody's gonna go home." So I we did this enrichment program for the children of frontline workers like doctors, nurses, so they didn't have to go to their grandparents who were high risk. So they would bring them to us. We were in an event, like an old doctor's office that got repurposed as like a pseudo school for like a handful of kids. And it's me and him as administration, and we had some of our teacher friends come in and teach the kids. And one of my teacher friends who was there was like, "Hey, you should get on TikTok." Now, in like a month or so previous to that, I had TikTok for a day and deleted it. It's like this I'm gonna get put on a watch list. Like somebody's gonna come round me up. This is nothing but teenage kids dancing. I do not
Mhm.
need to be on this app. But I was like, you know what? Cool, I'll do it. Let's get it in. And I started on the app, and my first video was a response to all the videos of people talking about Tiger King, that
Mhm.
wonderful thing that went on during the pandemic of that
Oh, yes.
brilliant that brilliant piece of television that everybody was enthralled with while they were stuck at their house.
Yep.
of Joe Exotic and his clan of people, and it did very like thousands of views, which to me I was like, wow, okay, cool. So I kept creating and kept making videos and started doing stuff about music and comedy and just trying to uh, pass the time as a teacher who's locked away in his home other than when he's going to work with these kids. And things just started to pick up and I kept getting like more and more followers and more views, and people seemed to really be attracted to the content because a lot of it was wrestling based because I'm a huge wrestling fan, and people like were into it and dug it. So I started doing more and started doing stuff. I was making like 10 to 12 videos a day at
Wow.
home because I was at the house and didn't have anything else to do. I was bored.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just started making content and like coming up with different concepts. Like, okay, what can I do this time? How can I use this sound? What can I do here? And I just kept putting stuff out, and it was like the next thing I know, I had like hundreds of thousands of followers, and I'm like, why? What are you doing? Why are you watching this?
You were
So
bringing joy to these people, honestly.
right, because I was always doing stuff before I got on TikTok. Like, there was an app where you would like make these like little short, not Vine, but it was something else. Where you would make these little short videos, and there was also Periscope before that, and I was doing Periscope for a while, and but TikTok is where everything really started to pick up. So I started doing that, and then I find out how I can like take the TikTok videos and put them on Instagram. I was like, ooh, let me do that too. Uh, and then I figured out I could put them on Facebook too. I was like, oh, cool, let me do that too. And things just started to really pick up and move. And then we got back to school and the at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And I started doing school based content about teachers and stuff like that. And people were getting into it. And I started doing wrestling entrances into my classroom, which really started to take off. And like that was one of the first times I've got videos that got like 1 million views, is when I was doing stuff like that, and it was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? And then WWE reached out, and that was when I really knew that stuff was like this could be something. This could be
Mhm.
something big, and
Yeah.
that so it was on from there.
So what did you do with WWE?
Well, so a lot of the, like I said, I was doing a lot of entrances coming into my classroom, wrestling entrances of like the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and all this stuff. And one of them had got like they had started to get really popular. So WWE reached out, they slid into my DMs. First they started following on TikTok, which I thought was that was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm at the height. It will never get bigger than this.
Yeah.
And they sent me a message. They're like, "Yeah, we have this morning show. We would love for you to come on and talk about your wrestling interests." And I was in the middle of state testing at the time, and I had a, a paraprofessional teacher in the classroom with me, and I asked him to watch my class for a second. I need to go and I need to leave the classroom because I started to get emotional. And then I went and ducked around a corner and I started sobbing, just crying, because when you're a kid who grew up watching that product and like dreaming of doing something with them one day, and then they reach out to you and say, hey, we'd love for you to come on and do this, that, and the other, and they start sharing your content, and you get messages from people that you've always admired who are like, oh my god, this is fantastic, thank you for doing this. Like, it's really starts to inspire you to do more and to push and to keep going. And that was the moment that I knew that I had something. So I went on the bump. It was I want to say spring 2021. It was right before school let out. I was in New Orleans at a teacher conference, and I they asked me to come on, so I did it in my hotel room. It's on YouTube now, and I was in my hotel room, like doing entrances and talking about wrestling in between seminars about how to be a better teacher. And that was also the week that I but that was also the first the week that I had my first date with my wife.
Wow.
So
Okay, so you
yeah,
were hustling.
like it was a big hustle at that point
Yeah,
because
that was
I
a
had
big week.
it was crazy. The whole thing was crazy because
Wow.
we live in the New Orleans area now. The conference is in New Orleans. She lives. This is the house she was living in when we first started dating, and so I was like, she saw a picture of me online, me being in New Orleans. She's like, "Hey, like, what are you doing in my neck of the woods?" And we had known each other for years, and I'd always like we'd all been cool. And I was like, well, why don't we go to dinner while I'm in town? She's like, well, I'm retired from dating. I just got I was out of my first marriage. Was out of her first marriage. And she's like, I'm not dating anybody anymore. So let's just go as friends. Let's go to dinner. The classic line.
There's
The
that. I was gonna
old
say those
that's how you
cheerleaders.
throw it out there. It's like that old line, you will just go as friends. And we haven't been separated from each other ever since. So I
That's
got her.
amazing.
That's
I
cool.
got her.
You got her. You got her.
I was a kitten once.
Yeah. Well, wait. How did you
uh,
guys know each other for so many years? When did you
well,
actually meet?
so like I talked earlier briefly about how I worked for ESPN Radio.
Yes.
And I worked for a ESPN radio station in North Louisiana that covered like the Saints and the Pelicans and all this stuff. And they also did high school sports. So there was a high school team that they were covering. I did sideline reporting and did football stuff. So they asked me to do the sideline reporting for this team while they were trying to make a run through the playoffs. And she was the athletic trainer for the team.
Ah,
Now,
okay.
so we had met through that, but we were just friends, like I said, because she was married at the time, I was married at the time. So we were just friends. Then years later down the road, she would like we stayed Facebook friends and she had seen like all the stuff I was doing online. She sent me a message while I was in her neck of the woods, and was like, "Hey, what are you doing around here?" And I saw that as my opportunity, as my
Wow.
shot. And much like Alexander Hamilton, I was not going to throw away my shot. So I messaged her and set up a date, and we just went on this wonderful date. The day after I did the thing with WWE, so that was a
Wow.
a really a turning point in my life was that week. And like I said, we've been together ever since. And now she's a part of the family business and all the things. And but that was around the time where everything was starting to get much
It was
bigger than I thought.
it wa
Yeah.
so and she had children, right? From her first marriage?
Yes.
Did
Yes.
she have son, daughter, daughters? What did she
Son,
have?
daughter, yes. An
Son
8-year-old
and daughter.
son, 12-year-old daughter, yes.
And then did you have children
I
from
have
your
a yes. I have a 15-year-old son, yes.
Okay, so you guys then became a blended family.
Yes.
How long did you guys date before you got married?
So we started dating in 21. We got married in 23, so 2 years.
Okay. And how has the blended family gone?
Great. I mean, like I said, my son is my 15-year-old. He's with his mom in North Louisiana. The other two, the 12 and the 8, are here with us, and it's gone well. As as a bonus dad, as we call it, I've tried to you know instill some life lessons from the kids that I've learned as a young man, but still make room for their parents, like their mom and their dad, because that's how you effectively co-parent. Is don't try to overstep, don't try to push too hard, but still, there's a respect that still should be there and that is there, and that's what we try to instill in our kids.
You sound like a wonderful stepfather. That's another rare thing. Speaking of someone who had two, no, that's the fact that you are able to recognize that is amazing. And I'm going to attribute that back to your mom and the village that
Mhm.
raised you, honestly.
Yeah. Cause it's hard. Like it's hard to try to adjust. Like we're in a groove right now, but I've been here for a couple years, and it's like it's because we'll have been together. Me and my wife talk about it. In May, it'll be what, 5 years?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we started in 21. It'll be five
Yeah.
years in May. And we have been married for 4 in August. So it's like we've been around each other for long enough to kind of know each other's quirks and how everybody works. So it's important to give space and give grace in certain instances, but at the beginning it was hard for me to do that because coming from where I was and having a son and raising him a certain way and then coming into this household and the parenting styles weren't really the same. So we had to find our compromises and find those happy mediums to where those things work, and it takes time. It's not
Yeah.
something that happens overnight, and that's what we had to do in order to make this a functional household. And again, I think we're at a place now where we've really caught that groove, but it wasn't always like that. And we just had to find everybody had to find their their place of comfort. And I
Mhm.
think that we've definitely found that now.
That's amazing,
That is cool.
honestly. And they're 8 and 12. I mean, they're busy, you're in it. Like there's a lot going on even when it's in the best like if it's even the mother and the father and all that, it's chaos.
Yeah.
So the fact
Yeah.
that you've been able to find your groove as a blended family during these ages. Now, does your son also come and visit and stay with you?
Yes, all the time. Well, as much as he can.
Yeah.
He's got school and he's got all his extracurriculars and he's got his friends. So he was
Yeah.
just here with us for Christmas.
Yeah.
And just getting the chance to hang out with him and see how he's grown. He's taller than me now, so I hate him. But other than that, it's just it's always great to be around him because he's my blood. Like that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's so it's he he looks like me, which is bizarre. And I look at old pictures of me because he's like kind of like slender and tall, and it reminds me of me when I was like in college because that was the last time I was under 200 pounds. So I look at those old pictures of me and the way that I looked, and I look at him and I'm like, that's one and the same. They're the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
cat.
wild.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always wild to to see that and to see how he's grown. He's got his learner's permit now. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is your
oh
first
god.
one driving. Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing. That's until
Yeah,
you
that's
him, and then when the next one, then you'll
They're about the
see.
age.
Yeah, yeah, get ready.
yeah. Because then once she gets her learner's permit, I'm gonna be an old hand at it. But
Yeah.
Yes.
now
Yeah.
it's like, oh gosh,
No, it's very
this is my
crazy.
nightmare.
Now,
This is
have
my
any
nightmare.
of them come to see your shows? Do they come to, like, when you're close local?
So my kids have seen the 8 and 12 have seen some parts of it because they came on the cruise with us
Oh,
when we
right.
did the cruise in November.
Yes.
The
So
swingers cruise.
they've no, uh, no, that and that's a whole story. I'm gonna end up telling that one on the. I was just thinking about that the other day, and I've been working on the material, and I totally forgot about that. And I'm gonna put it in the new stuff for this year because I mentioned it while we were in Lauderdale
Yeah.
Yeah.
at that show, and
Yeah.
but I'm gonna dig deep into it because I've been doing research, not because I want to get on the cruise. Like for those of you who are watching and have no idea what we're talking
I
about,
know that's the best
now
part.
they came to these wonderful people came to a show in Fort Lauderdale that we were doing for the GenX Takeover tour. And the hotel that we were staying in for the show had a bunch of people who were going on a swingers cruise, staying in the hotel. And that was a whole experience. And the cruise line that they're on, if you go to their website, you will be amazed, shocked, and disgusted all at the same time. So,
Really?
oh my gosh, like the open play areas that are clothing optional, though that kind of stuff. Yeah. So there, yeah. And these were the people that were in the
No.
hotel with my children. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was
No.
that was a lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, they were on the cruise with us and got to see like the ending part, like some of the sing along and that kind of stuff, because there was something like keep my set pretty clean. I don't curse much. I think I use like one or two words maybe. And thematic stuff isn't that bad. But everybody else,
Yeah. We were there.
so like it's not really much that the kids can watch of that. So
Yeah.
they've seen some of the stuff, and I think that there will be a time where I do a show because I'm supposed to be. There's a comedian friend of mine that's coming to do a show here, not too far from where I am, and she just asked me the other day to open for her. So I
Oh,
think that's a show where they actually be able to come to and hang out because that'll be a pretty much a clean show, and I look forward to that because I would love for the kids to come and like they've seen the videos and they
yeah.
watch the stuff that I do online, but to come and watch me do my thing on stage, I think would be a great experience.
Well, yeah, as we
Yeah.
talked about before, the live experience is like no other. Um, so that week where you were on WWE and you met your wife, was there a shift career wise and after that moment for you? Because you were also still teaching.
Right, somewhat. I mean, there was right after that. I went back and was teaching, and then an opportunity came up to go into administration in a junior high. And I jumped at the opportunity to apply. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, actually helped me apply for it. Which she was living here, I was living up there. I talked about coming to move down here and teaching, and she, it was early in the relationship. She was like, "Whoa, hold up, I'm not there yet. We're good. You can stay where you are." And then she helps me to apply for this job, and I get the job, and she immediately is sobbing and sad and crying because she's like, "Then you're not gonna be able to be here." It's like I just tried to come there, and you told me not to. So that was an experience, and I did that for a year, the administration, and after that, at the end of that year, I was like, and I'm not even talking about the administration part, just the education part in general. I was like, I'm kind of done. Because I was getting close to 1 million followers on TikTok, and it has started to be not necessarily lucrative, but it I was doing pretty good
Hmm.
with socials and like the funds that were coming from them.
That had to have
So
been surreal to have 1 million people following you.
it
Like,
was crazy.
you remember the moment it switched?
I do. So I re- I effectively retired from education right before that. Like I had was done, and I told I told Lisa, my wife, that I was willing to move from where I was to come here to be with her, and I moved here. Then sometime that summer, we were at a swim meet for my nieces and well, they weren't my nieces and nephews at the time, but they are now, and we were just watching to watch it turn over, and then
Mm,
it finally turned over, and I went to, this is kind of like the whole WWE thing. I went to the parking lot and went to the car and just
mm,
started bawling my eyes out because it was like that. It was never part of the plan. Like this again was something to cure the boredom from COVID. It was never part of the plan to like be successful and to turn it into a career and have 1 million people like follow my account and like be into my stuff and like want to continue watching it. It was just different. It was surreal. It was crazy. And I remember that fondly because like I had to go back in and my face was like my eyes were red and you could tell that I've been crying and my
Yeah.
father-in-law is sitting there and he's like, what is wrong with him? Like why
The
is
hell's
he
wrong with this guy?
is he okay? Like what's this is who you want to like this guy? So he was so it was crazy because all my in-laws all knew what was going on with the social media stuff, but they could never like it was like it was a thing of like so you make money from that, like is this
Yeah.
your career is making dumb videos on the internet, like how is that sustainable, like
Mhm.
how are you going to support your wife, my daughter, like how are you going to do that? So then things started to pick up and he's like, oh, so you're going to support it like that, okay, cool, great, good to know, buddy, you keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
So it was that was a crazy day. It was a crazy time because everything seemed to be happening so fast. Like everything was moving because I did that. Yeah, I got 1 million followers, and not too long after that, we were married.
Right.
And then I decided I had already decided to retire and not do any more teaching, and I found a job doing ESPN radio here because of my connections with the previous job doing ESPN radio. And that was when I was like, okay, it's just going to be this and social media, and that's how I'm going to make my living. And radio doesn't pay jack. So there were times where I was like, am I doing the right thing by putting all my eggs into these baskets or into this basket? And then about a year later, I ended up leaving the ESPN job and just doing social media full time. And I was like, this is all I'm gonna do. And I bet on myself. And sometimes you have to take those leaps of faith and bet on yourself and say, well, if this is what I want to do, if this is what I'm, and thank God I had the support of my wife in this because she was the one who was mainly like, you should just do this. Like, why are you trying to hold on to this thing? Because, and part of it was that, and again, being in our age range, being in this generation, you were raised to think of conventional jobs. Like if you have a job, you're getting up in the morning and you're going to an office, or you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're not sitting in front of a camera and talking to no one and posting it online and making money from it. That is not a job. That is
Yeah.
a hobby. That is you're an extracurricular. That is not a job. And I had to get out of that mindset if I was going to support my family.
Yeah.
Just had to. Like if this is what you're
Yeah.
gonna do, this is your job. So go do your job. Thankfully, I've been able to not only survive but thrive in this profession. And it is because of the love and support of a lot of people, and it starts at home and goes out to the interwebs. So I'm just very thankful to be in the position that I'm in and that people have accepted this being my job.
I
Uh,
mean, the courage, though. I mean, can we just acknowledge the courage that it takes to take that leap, to bet on yourself, especially from our generation, to do the unconventional thing, to be progressive enough to do the unconventional thing, to see the big picture and see beyond what we've been trained to think in our generation, because this is progressive what you're doing. Like this, what you're doing sounds totally normal to a Gen Z, but for a Gen
yeah.
X,
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
like so foreign and such a leap of faith. Talk about faith. I'm sure you
Mhm.
prayed on it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but I just that's why I say you're so inspiring, especially for people our age, because when we see people like you and your co-stars on the tour, doing what you're doing and actually betting on yourselves and truly authentically chasing your dreams, it inspires us to do the same. And
And
it's really,
that means a lot. It
honestly,
I
means a
think
lot.
what's cool too, though, is that you recognize it and you celebrate it. To leave the swim meet and go cry, you, I mean, that's pretty
you
cool.
appreciated the
Kind of gives me
moment.
goosebumps thinking about it. You recognize the importance of this moment, something you've been working at. We haven't touched on that. We've been joking it's the hustle, but you've been working your ass off. Right? You've had your background and history of the jobs you've done and with teaching and Chili's, the ESPN radio. I mean, that's you're working your ass off.
Yeah, it
It's not
takes
like you just
work.
woke up and it's like, oh, I got lucky. You've been grinding.
Yeah.
And there are people
It's
who
rectified.
think that they look at people online and they're like, "Well, you just woke up one day and turned the camera
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and that's how this happened." But in order to be successful, like if you get to a certain place in social media, it's not because you just lucked into it.
Mhm,
It's it takes hard work to sustain it because
mhm.
there are people who do just turn on the camera and made like one or two videos that like blew up, and the next thing you know, they're like the Haktua girl. Like
Yes,
she did
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
She did
I know.
nothing
And
and
she could
turned
have
it
done
into
something with that, but, it like, I feel like she turned it into a viral thing, but then I don't think she utilized that opportunity in any way really once
well,
after
she
the
like
was
did
over.
podcasts and all this stuff like that, but then she started doing the crypto thing, and that's where everything took a turn.
Yes,
Like it's
yes,
you have these people who find their like literal 15 minutes of fame, and the next thing you know, you're like, what happened to them?
yeah,
Mhm.
In order to sustain it, you've got to work, you've got to hustle, you've got to be lucky in some points, but for the most part, it's like grinding and making sure that you're striking while the iron is hot. That's kind of how this tour came about. That we're all individually doing well, and then we see this opportunity to go into a whole new like medium and a whole new thing and be able to reach out to our people while doing it and continue to build on the successes that we've already had. You
yeah,
have to be able to recognize these different pockets of your career that are where you can be successful and build on those things. And that's what has helped to make it sustainable, to make it an actual career, an actual business.
yeah,
We like doing the content and then in the middle of like things starting to get big, saying, "Hey, what if we put out a merch line?" And then you start putting out the merch and it supports the content, and then you have another revenue stream on top of what you're already doing with the social media, and then you go into, well, hey, what if we did this? What if we did that? What about this thing? And that's how it becomes sustainable. Where you don't just you're not just a TikToker. You're not just an influencer.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
also an entertainer. You're
yeah,
also it's your business. It's your job. So
yeah,
you're building that brand and you're building that business into something that will down the line make your children's children comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it's like, but it all starts with recognizing where you are and saying, okay, how can I build on this?
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's where some people fall off.
You
Yeah.
treat it and like what you're just describing, you took it and you treated it like a business. You made it your job and you treated it like a business and you put in the work
Yes.
and the grind and the hustle. And no one knows grind like Gen X. But once you hit that million and you got married, um, from did when did other opportunities, like you went on WWE and you were doing social media, when did other opportunities start coming in that was different than that?
Well, it opportunities were always coming in because of like brand deals and stuff like that. where you get the opportunities to like work with brands to promote their product. And we've had a couple of different brand deals over the years with Awala, the water bottles, like the one I'm drinking out of now. Um, and a couple of other brands that have like reached out and we've been able to do stuff with them. I was on a TV show. Um, it was what 3 years ago. A show called Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge. It's a
Hot
reality
Wheels
television show
Ultimate Challenge? Okay.
that I did on. It was on NBC. It was like a summer show on NBC. Um, I was working with ESPN Radio here in the New Orleans area, and I got a phone call driving between spots where I was doing stuff. And this casting agent was like, "Hey, um, we're doing this TV show, and we'd love for you to be a part of it." They're like, well, I just so you know, like I played with Hot Wheels as a kid, but I'm a grown adult now, so I don't know
Mhm.
what I would be able to do. And they're like, no, it's a competition show. Go look at this material online, fill out the application, and hopefully somebody will be in touch. Like the next day, I got a phone call like, yeah, we love you. We want you to be on the show. You have to go through this intake process, and I did all the interviews and the questions and the things, and got called to be cast in the show, and flew to England for a month
Oh, wow.
to
Wow.
film this TV show. It was surreal, man, because like they I don't know why they didn't do it in the States, and I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna go. So they were like, yeah. So when during the intake, when I got cast, they were like, yeah, show's gonna be in England. You need to get your passport, get everything together. So they expedited my passport. I hopped on a plane and flew to England, and it was we were in Manchester. Um, I was only scheduled to do one episode, but it's a competition show. So if you won your episode, you were available to were eligible to be in the finale.
So
So I
is this
won my episode.
like a reality show?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a reality competition show where like they brought in all these people to compete against each other building cars, building life-size Hot Wheels out of cars from their past.
Oh, wow.
So I
Okay.
chose the car that my dad would drive me to Houston in when I was a kid as the car that I wanted. It was a Monte Carlo, and we pimped it out. It was all gold. There's a gold wrap all around it. 26-inch rims, a dance floor in the back, and here here's how things come full circle. So I'm doing the show. I'm on set. One of the hosts of the show comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, so you got T-Pain sharing your stuff on Instagram, right?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, T-Pain shared one of your videos to his Instagram." And we weren't allowed to have phones on set, but I snuck my phone on set to check out what he was talking about. And lo and behold, and I'm so glad that because it was in his stories. So if I hadn't have seen it when he
Yeah, it would
told
have
me
been
about
gone.
it would have been gone.
Yeah.
So I got the chance to see it. I was like, wow, this is insane. And then we're in the middle of filming the episode, and some of the episodes had special guest judges. It was on NBC, so Terry Crews was a special guest judge for one episode. I think Anthony Anderson came in and did this episode. And for my episode, they had Big E, who's a big
Mm.
wrestler in the WWE. And so it's like they knew that it's wrestling, right? Right. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was just a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And they're telling me like people are coming up and telling me that like E has been talking about me in like the trailer backstage. He's like, yeah. So they're like, there's a big wrestler fan that's on the show. This guy, Nick Harrison. He's like, oh yeah, I know him. He does all the entrances and stuff, right? He's great. So getting the chance to like, again, we had mutual friends through like, the business and stuff. So getting to talk to him and hang out with him during the filming of that was very cool and just really surreal. And I won my episode.
Nice.
And so everybody who won their episode was like waiting for that phone call. And like for me, it was like they were picking the people for the finale right after I got finished filming my episode. So I was scheduled to fly out of England. I already had my bags packed, had my tickets, the whole nine. And they were like, well, you just wait to find out if you get a phone call. Because if you get a phone call, you need to stay for another 2 weeks. So I'm in my hotel room. Everybody's like messaging back and forth on WhatsApp. And they're like, did you get your call yet? Did you get your call yet? Then people start messaging me saying, hey, we just got the call that we did not make the finale. So it's probably going to be you, because there was a bunch of people who were filming the show who were still in England at the time, and some people had already filmed their episodes and they were already back in the States. So the people who were coming back from the States had already been called to fly back for the finale. And the only person that was still in England at the time that was in the finale was me. So it's me and two other people. And then talk about Gen X. The finale was judged by Jay Leno.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
And he loves cars.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it
Car
was
collection.
That's
like
so
this
cool.
person who, yeah, a former host of the Tonight Show, somebody who I grew up watching on TV, is hanging out in my garage while I'm trying to build a car and telling me dirty jokes. Like it was one of the most surreal moments of my life where I'm just standing there, Jay Leno, like in between shooting. He's like, hey, this nun, she's doing this and blah, blah, blah. And they ask her where she got the milk from. And da 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 da. It's like, oh my God, what is happening right now? I, I'm building a custom like car, like a Firebird. They gave me, I had Smokey and the Bandit car for my
Oh,
car.
Nice.
that's Brian's favorite movie.
Yeah. I love that car.
So I ended up getting the Smokey and the Bandit car and kind of made
Very
it
cool.
tribute to Smokey and the Bandit. It was black and gold and had
Cool.
all these little things on it. It's very cool. And Jay, it's just the whole experience was just nuts. And I ended up losing. I came in second place. Um, so the winner got their car turned into a Hot Wheel, like an actual Hot Wheel that went into the stores, and also won
Cool.
like 50 grand or something. So I did not win, but the recognition from being, this thing to add to the resume. I just,
Mhm.
I did
Yeah.
a TV show, blah blah. I got
Yeah.
an IMDb page, it's right here, blah blah. And so I go back home, and unrelated to the whole thing of being on TV, but right after I got back home, like a couple months after that, my Instagram starts popping off. And within between then, like at the time I got back home, I had like 30,000.
What year was that,
This
would you say?
was 20, this is 2026 now. So I want to say it was 2023 was when
Okay.
that was.
Okay.
Because yeah, like it's crazy how it all just popped off like that.
So your
And
TikTok popped off first, and then you went and you had this experience over in England. You get back, and now your Instagram's popping off like the TikTok was popping off.
yes, and within it was at 30,000 at that time, and then next thing you know, by next year it was at 1 million,
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
which was just incredible. It's crazy.
And what about Facebook?
Facebook gradually got there. It started like churning, and then I want to say the year after that is when Facebook hit 1 million.
So by 2024, you were a million on all three.
Yes.
Hey, going back to Jay, did you make a connection with him at all? Like we were just talking about him this morning. He's talking about how his wife is suffering from dementia, and
Yeah.
people in Hollywood are like, "Are you getting a girlfriend?" And he's like, "No, no way. Married to my wife for 45 years or
Right.
whatever." He's a good guy, right? Is he pretty decent dude?
Yeah, from what the short experience that I had with him, because he was only on set for like a day or two.
Yeah.
But from the experience that I had with him, he was just very affable and just a great, easy guy to talk to, and imparting wisdom on everybody who would come up and talk to him. Like it was just really cool to be around him. Like that being in this kind of in this line of work and being in what we do, it's always incredible to be able to make connections with people who are in the entertainment industry. And thankfully I've been able to make a lot of connections over the past couple of years, kind of like that, and some a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So, as your numbers were increasing, were there other opportunities that presented themselves, like after the reality show?
Somewhat. I mean, you had people who would like come with different opportunities to do things like advertising, and as far as like television shows and stuff like that, nothing immediately after that. There were some glimpses, like there were offers that were made that just did not work out at the time. But people are always watching, because they told us, like, when we got cast for the show, they were like, "Welcome to the family of," because that's NBC is like Bravo and E and all this other stuff. So they're like, if there are other opportunities that come up with some of these things and you're right for it, then we will let you know.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
the offer was always extended, but some stuff just wasn't right at the time. But we're always open for opportunities. Like,
So, was the next big move Gen X Takeover tour, like how that all
yes.
began?
Mhm.
So, the four of you are Dad Bod Veteran, Slim Sherry, Kelly Mano, and you are all prominent on social media. And I know Justin Ruppel's your MC, all prominent on social media. Were you friends before this
Um,
project?
Sherry and I were cool. And I knew of Kelly. I didn't really know John at the time. What it was is that there was an award show in Vegas, Cheer Choice Awards. They're not doing it this year, but at the time in 2024, they were. And Sherry and I both went to the award show. We had been cool on social media and like talked back and forth, and we were both like, Are you going to Cheer Choice? Are you going to Cheer Choice?" And like, yeah, so we got to link up when we get there, and we did, and we like had breakfast. And like every day we had breakfast together and like just hanging out and just talking about stuff that we wanted to do, because Sherry's a dreamer, and she has these huge ideas of stuff that she wants to do, and she had just done her cruise, and she was like, "I want to do something else. Let's try to get together and do something." So we stayed in contact, and then one of the ideas was like, let's just get together with a couple other creators and make content. So we were gonna get like an Airbnb somewhere and just get together and like make videos with other like Gen X creators. Now we both knew Kelly and she knew John. So we made phone calls and like interacted with each other. And the next thing you know, we're like, okay, well, let's get an Airbnb in Vegas and just hang out. Not Vegas, Nashville, and hang out. And we were like, bet. Now, in between the time of us coming up with the idea, or we're really us talking about doing something, um, the I got the stand up opportunity on the West Coast. So I'm preparing to do that. So the idea gets floated to do a stand up show or do a comedy show. Everybody else is like, I'm not a comedian. I have no idea what I would do with that. But my wife, Sherry's wife, are both like, y'all are crazy if you're going to go to Nashville and not do something with your people, like hang out with everybody. So we rent out a comedy club in Nashville, Third Coast Comedy Club, and go and decide to go and do a comedy show. Something that neither of us had ever done before,
That's
as like
awesome.
a just like I had done it because of the offer that had come up, but we had never like nothing like this.
Yeah.
So we rented out a comedy club, did a comedy show, and then we made a deal with this like adult play place in downtown Nashville called Pins, where you just go there and like they have video games and pinball and pin bowling and giant Jenga and all this other stuff. You just go and do all these things, and we did an after party afterwards for some people, and that that was one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had before in my life, because all four of us, we go to this place and we end up all being separated from each other, and these lines of people start forming to like take pictures and get autographs and like talk to us, and it's just crazy because the lines are going all the way around the building. Like Sherry had like three different lines because of where she was standing. Three different lines were like coming to her at the same time, and thankfully we John, who's a security guy, uh had thought we all well we thought all thought of like making sure that we had security with us
Yeah.
while we were there. And it's really just the way that all that happened, and then we were like, well, we should do this again.
Yeah.
This has been successful and people are like enjoying it, so let's do it again. So we did another show in Cleveland a couple of months after that and packed the place out. It was at a piano bar. And we packed the place out. We did the comedy thing. And then we started dancing on the pianos and singing with everybody and doing karaoke at the end of the night, where it was like we just danced the night away. And it was amazing. And then that's where it started to really sink in that this is something that we need to just keep doing. Like, let's do a tour. So we just thought of like different, like we all thought of like our cities where we lived. So we of course wanted to do Atlanta. We wanted to do New Orleans. Wanted to do St. Louis. Wanted to do Charleston because that's where John was living at the time, and Vegas because we were all planning on going to the Cheer Choice Awards because
Yeah.
John and Kelly hadn't been, and Sherry and I had. So we were like, let's all go to the Cheer Choice Awards. Let's do a show there and do all these things. And so it turned into a tour, and it kept getting bigger. When we did the show in Atlanta at the beginning of 2025, that was when we got approached by a booking agent who was like, I want to help you guys. And he brought Justin along.
Mm.
And then Justin became the host, starting in Vegas, either New Orleans. It was starting in New Orleans, actually. And it became what it is now. Like, it just kept building, it kept getting bigger. It's just crazy how it all started. But yeah, like it all
So,
started from just me and Sherry wanting to hang out in
yeah,
Vegas.
at the Cheer
That's cool.
Choice Awards. And then,
Right.
I mean, that was destiny obviously right there. But
Yeah.
in Nashville, was that your first time having that much exposure in real life to your fans?
Yes, having that much. Now again, I had done those shows in we did a show in San Diego and did a show in Arizona.
Mhm.
That was just me, and we did two live recordings of my wife and I's podcast, Hanging with the Harrisons, during those shows. But the first show had like 10 people. And
Okay.
then the second show had maybe 50.
Okay.
So it was like there were people there, but not to that degree. We The Nashville show, the first show that we all did together, we planned this show and we're like, nobody's gonna want to come and see this thing. And it sold out in like 24 hours.
And
Oh wow.
how many people were at that show?
It was the first show, I want to say it was like somewhere around 100.
Okay.
So it sold out in like 24 hours. And then the next show, and then the comedy club calls us and asks us if we need help selling tickets. We're like, no, it already sold out. So they said, oh, cool. Do you want to do another show? So we ended up doing a second show that was like a matinee type show.
Mhm.
So we did 2 shows back to back, then did the after party afterwards, and we were all spent. Like there was a lot of Advil taken that night after doing all those things because we were
I
just
can't
absolutely dog tired.
I can't even imagine because getting up there and doing a performance that you're projecting so much of yourself, right? And so much energy, doing it twice when you weren't expecting to. And then saying after and having all of that energy coming towards you, all of that love and adoration, but it's still energy, right? That you're
Right.
absorbing. And that was your first time that did you ever have like a panic attack a little bit? Was there a moment where you were like freaking out?
Um, Before, yeah, because knowing that had to get up and do this and
Yeah,
then do it again and then have the after party afterwards. Like there was a time before where I was kind of freaking out, then there was a time afterwards where we're all at the house and I'm dead tired and we're all just looking at each other like we really just did this. Like this is a thing that just happened and they it was we did not expect it to be as big as it was or as amazing as it was. And it's still to this day, for at least for me, it's always crazy to walk on stage and see like a sea of people and be like, y'all are here to see us. That's stupid. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? There's us? Me?
Yeah.
This? Why? And but it's amazing all at the same time. Like it's crazy and surreal, but it's also amazing to be in the position to where people will want to come and see something like that and they keep coming back, which is like I was looking at the numbers for our first show in Detroit and I was like, wow, this is wow. All right. So we're still
where are
doing
you at
this.
in Detroit?
We're at
You
the music hall
okay,
in Greektown right next to what Hollywood Casino out
okay,
there.
cool.
So
You
yeah.
know what though? I've thought about it because we went and saw you guys in Lauderdale, and I was thinking about you guys a lot after that. And besides the incredible talent that was up on the stage, and that's obvious.
Thank you.
But I think you guys are. h- I think the reason that you resonate so much with our generation is you help us feel seen, and we were never seen. And right, we're the forgotten generation in a lot of ways. Or they skip over us. They talk about Gen Z, millennial, go right to boomer. They forget. And I feel like you're one of the first, how do I put it? You're really one of the first prominent groups of people to just do something just for us and talk about subject matters that completely resonate with us, and you've curated something just for us, and inherently no one has done that for our generation, or a lot of us as children, no one did that for us. So I think when people come to see you guys, even though everyone's laughing and it's so funny, again, I think there's just so much to feeling seen and being able to feel like you're in a like-minded space. And oh my
Relatable.
gosh, it wasn't just me who went through that, you went through it too, but you guys bring humor to so much of it. So it's so much more than just a comedy show, in my opinion. I don't know if that
And
makes
that's why
sense.
it does. And that's why we do it. I mean, it's not just a comedy show, it's a safe space.
Yes. Yes.
It's an opportunity for people who have feel as though they have not been seen, has not been heard to because that's what we are. Like that's what social media is. Or that's what it has been for me at least. Is an opportunity to connect. Because you have so many people who have gone to social media over the past couple like when we first started doing the tour, we were in Nashville, we had a bunch of people who were like, this is the first time I've left my house since COVID. Because I haven't wanted to go anywhere, I haven't wanted to be anywhere. And but we saw you guys were doing this. And we were like, we gotta be there for this.
Yeah.
And to have that opportunity and to see how it has grown and see how many people continue to say, hey, you are you've done so much to help me get through these tough times. You've done so much to like I know I can go to your page for a smile and for a laugh. And all of us that are on this tour have had that opportunity and had that interaction with people.
Mhm.
So to be able to reach out and touch the people and give back and hug and shake hands and take pictures and talk to people, it has been an honor and a joy to be able to do that because there's so many people who that's what they're looking for connection.
Yeah.
And the people they see on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, they consider them to be their friends. Like they're like, you say the things that I want to say, you listen to the music that I listen to, and you relate to the things that I relate to because of the way that we were brought up, the way that we grew up, the where we came from.
Yeah.
And it means a lot because that's part of the purpose is to reach these people and to love on them and to let them know that they are not alone because there's so many opportunities that we have in this world and so many ways that we can feel alone and feel as though nobody's listening to me, nobody's looking out for me, nobody understands me. And then you have these people that you see on your phone or on your computer where you're like, wow, yes, I get that because I've experienced the same thing. And now you get the opportunity to go see them, to go talk to them, to reach out to them and let them know in person what they have meant to you. And that's what it means to me as well, that I get to reach out to these people, that John gets to reach out to these people, that Sherry, that Kelly, that Justin gets to reach out to, that JoJo gets to reach out to these people that have felt so alone and say, you're not alone. We're here with you. We love you. We are here to support you. And we're going to get through this thing together.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to be able to have that opportunity. And I'm so thankful and blessed that there are people who get it. Because not everybody gets it, man. Like not everybody gets that why we do what we do and why we try to reach out to people. But when you are able to show what you mean and show what these people mean to you, it means the world. It just means the world.
Well, I think that also is why it's sustaining and you're finding such success because it's coming from such a meaningful place, a good place, an authentic place. And as we talked about before, people feel that. They know. They can spot a phony or not. And so I think because of the meaning behind it is why it continues to draw people in as well. And I just think it's so just perfect that Gen Xers are showing up for Gen Xers. You know, you guys are showing up for us. You're having our
Yeah.
backs. And that's just such our generation. It's like we got you. You guys got us, you know, and you're giving us a space to come and like you said, a safe space. But Gen Xers created that for Gen Xers. And I think it's
Yeah.
just the coolest thing, honestly. I love that this random moment between you and Sherry, then this random thing in Nashville. Like it was destined. There was no way this wasn't going to happen, but I love seeing it just continue to take off because it's so positive, it's so good, and that's what you guys are all about. It's just so good.
It was
So,
meant to be, man. Like it was
meant to
meant
be.
for this is and we talk about all the time how special this is. You know, this was not a coincidence. Like we were all connected for a reason, and this is part of the reason as to why we were all connected. It's crazy to think of how it all started because again, this was like I got to give Sherry her flowers and give her credit because this is a lot of this is her brainchild, and she will say like she will punch me in the face for trying to give her credit for something because we're a unit, we're a team, we're a family, the four of us, the five of us, the six of us, the whole crew. Like we have, you know, people working behind the scenes, our spouses who have been so supportive of everything that we're doing. We are the chat that we have between us and our phones is called the GenX family chat because we're a family and we're but it's not it's not an individual thing. Like it's not a thing where it's like, well, I did this or I did that. We came together and were able to do something really special. And
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate and thankful to be surrounded by so many talented people who get it. And we've been able to carve out this niche, and there are like so many people all over the world, not just around the country, but all over the world who support it and who want to be a part of it. And they are all invited to get on this GenX train. And no telling where to stop it.
One thing I noticed when we went to your show, I'm not the most outgoing person. I don't leave the house too much, right? But
No,
because I was so busy.
no.
But to go to your guys' show and to see, a bunch of people our age, our generation, hanging on every word, completely dialed into everything you guys are saying. But and that was cool. But then after the show, the generosity of you guys interacting with the crowd and taking pictures, making sure everybody who wanted a picture got a picture, and so willingly, and standing there with all types of people. I think that's cool. I think that does resonate. I think that goes so far, and it lines up with what you're saying. You are there for the fans, for the people, the supporters. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
what
It
we
was a
do it
cool
for.
thing to witness.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. It's like we're not doing it for ourselves. This is not a self. We're not grandstanding. We're not. This is not a self appreciating thing. This is more of reaching out to the people. Because we get messages every day. Are you coming here? Are you coming there? Or I would love to come see your show. Like, for example, when I landed in Miami that weekend to get ready for that show and for the cruise, I get off the plane. We're at baggage claim. We're at baggage claim. Tired, just out of it. This guy and his wife stop me, and they're like, "Hey, you are that guy. We love you. I love your content, and I'm also a Bills fan because the Bills were playing the Dolphins that weekend in Miami, and I'm a huge Buffalo Bills fan." They stop me, and I'm like, "Hey, are you guys doing anything tomorrow? Let me get you some tickets. Come to the show." And I've never done that. It's like just told somebody who I see like a random person on a plane, hey, come to the show. We'd love to see you out there. And they straight up came to the show, and we took pictures and hung out, and he was like pointing to me while I was on stage, and I pointed back to him. And that's an experience that he's going to talk about
Yeah.
for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, man. Like the support from people that follow and that come to the shows and like comment on the content, that has been the greatest thing. And you've given me so many great experiences. I want to be able to give you as many great experiences as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about, man. That's what it's all about.
So what was it like performing in Vegas?
It's a dream come true. Because again, growing up in our generation, like you watched like Johnny Carson and all these guys, and you watch, like for me it was the Rat Pack, like Frank, Sammy, Dean, all these people hanging out on the Vegas Strip,
Hmm.
like Ocean's 11, all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like that is what I grew up with. And to be able to say that I performed a show at the Palms in front of a packed house
That's
and
cool.
put on my glitter jacket and sung songs and did my whole lounge act in Vegas in front of all these people, because that's what I like for my part of the show. When we did that show at the Palms, I came out singing and then did comedy and then sang another song and then did some more comedy and did some crowd work and went out into the crowd and talked to the people, because for me that's what Vegas it is. That's what it embodied, you
Mhm.
know. And growing up watching that kind of thing, I wanted to do it too, because this was my opportunity to be able to do it. And to do that was just one of the highlights of my career without question. To be able to say I played the Palms is just surreal. It's a
You know what's cool?
crazy moment.
Crazy.
What's cool is, like, if you go to Nashville, it's the mecca for tremendous music. When you
Yeah.
go to Vegas, it's the mecca for tremendous performances, and you got to do that.
You've
That's
done
cool.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to be
Have
able
been
to do
through
that kind of thing in like in Vegas and in Nashville, and to like go to all these like this year we're going to be in Chicago and Indianapolis, and I get to go to Buffalo, and that to me is I I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Like again, I was just in Buffalo a couple weeks ago. I'm a huge Bills fan. I've been to Buffalo multiple times and have a lot of friends there and just love the city just a ton. So to be able to go and perform there is very special to me. To be able to go to Chicago, the second city where,
Yeah.
like so many comedians have come from. Like Chicago is a big comedy hub, and to be able to go to Chicago and perform and do stand up is again just blows my mind. Like we have been to a lot of great cities and we'll be to a bunch more. Like performing in New Orleans was big for me because Louisiana is my home. So like it's right like an hour away from where I am. So to be able to perform there in front of a like family and friends was just great. And to be able to do like what we're gonna do this year, and then doing the cruise was awesome too, because my entire family was here. When my eldest son was supposed to be there, but he had school things and couldn't make it.
Mm.
But the other two kids were there. My in laws were there. My wife was there with me the whole time, and to be able to experience that, and for them to see like how big this thing has become. Because we really like when we talk about takeover, we took over that freaking boat,
Yeah, yeah.
and just every time they turned around, like people were asking for pictures or stopping to talk to me. Hey man, I love your content. Cause what was crazy was it wasn't just our people. Like there were people who were just there to be on the cruise that didn't even know that we were gonna be there, who were like, oh my
Oh,
God,
wow.
what are you doing here? We love you. So we got it from all sides, which
That's
for
awesome.
my wife got tiring at one point.
Right.
But for me, it was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And my father-in-law, who at one time was wondering how I was going to support his daughter, to be able to see all of that was like, okay, celebrity, I see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just it's the way that everything is kind of like happened and unfolded has been absolutely surreal, but I do not take any of it for granted, because again, I'm walking in my purpose. It's where I'm supposed to be. And there are huge things that are coming up this year that I would have never guessed were going to happen. But I am again fortunate and blessed and excited for what's to come.
I was thinking about one thing that we grew up with was variety shows, and they don't
Yeah.
really have those anymore. If you think about it, there aren't variety shows on TV anymore. And you guys are kind of, it's very
Tapping into that.
perfect that
Yeah.
Your Gen X show is like a variety show. You're kind of going old school for all of us. It's what we grew up with, and you're kind of bringing it back, but live and touring as a variety show. That's not really a thing anymore. So you're kind of
No.
bringing it back, which is cool.
Like as a
It's very
kid,
cool.
I grew up with shows like Rowan and Martin's Laughing,
Yeah.
the Smothers Brothers, um, in Living Color. Like
Yeah.
these
Carol
were the kinds
Burnett.
of show. Carol Burnett,
Yeah.
yes, like
Yeah.
that was it for us. Like the variety show doesn't exist anymore. It's not a
No.
thing. And but that is what we've tried to incorporate with our show. Like we
Yeah.
have a live musician on stage who plays live music throughout the show and like opens up the show with music. When we were in Charleston, I've become dear friends with Edwin McCain, and he's from Charleston. He actually came to the show and performed with us at
Wow.
the end of the show, and came out and sang "I'll Be," and did the whole the sing along at the end of the show with us, and
Yeah.
came and hung out and talked to people. It was amazing, man. And I was so thankful to him. That's my brother from another mother. That's my guy. So for him to come out and do something like that really meant a lot, and it really kind of was an eye opener for us because it kind of showed us where we were. Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, now we've
Yeah.
got special guests coming to the show. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Come on,
Still
guys.
going up.
So it's
You've not peaked yet. You guys are still going.
When did
there's
you
still so much to do.
Yeah, it's
you
cool.
met Donnie Wahlberg, right? When did you meet him?
So I met Don. Gosh, was that 24 too? It might have been 24 as well. So he did like New Kids on the Block has been on tour and doing stuff. They were on their Magic Summer tour, and he had become a fan of the content. All the guys had pretty much because I had done like some New Kids on the Block videos, and some of the blockheads, were like they are a cult, man. They share everything and just throw stuff out there. They always tag the guys in videos if it gets popular and something they think is cool. So he had seen some of the content and was like, "Hey man, I want you to come out to a show. Please be our guest." And we went to this show in Austin, Texas. It was at a motor a racetrack that was out in Austin, and we got to go to the show, and it was DJ Jazzy Jeff, Paul Abdul, and New Kids on the Block, which was like it took me back to childhood. Where I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, this is my kind of show. And we get there, and there, of course, there are people who are like, "Oh my God, you're that guy." To the point where like they're lining up for the VIP, and I'm walking over to go backstage, and they're like people who are getting out of line in the VIP to come and take pictures with me,
My
which
God.
was a surreal moment. I'm at a New Kids on the Block concert, and a line is forming of people who want to take pictures with me. This is
Wow.
ridiculous.
Wow.
So we get backstage, and everybody's getting ready, and I see like Joey and Jordan and Jonathan and Danny, and then Donnie comes out, and he just gives me this gigantic hug, and we sit and chat for a second. Donnie's big on content too, so he makes a video with me while we're standing backstage, and they do this big thing before the show where they get together and do a prayer, and they asked me to lead it, and that was I like there are moments in my career and in my life that I can think of, and it's hard to top that one. Like that was crazy. And but it was just it was amazing. It was amazing. So we prayed with the guys, and then they went out to the went backstage to go get ready for the show, and then we went out into the crowd. Uh before a little bit before that, I got a text message from somebody backstage. They were like, "Do you know?" And my wife will never forgive me for this, by the way. They were like, "Do you know "Summertime" by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?" I was like, "I kind of know it. I could, I'm okay with it." And they were like, "Well, don't worry about it then." But they have some during that tour. They would bring somebody from the crowd on stage to do the first verse of "Summertime" with them and DJ Jazzy Jeff. So they were asking me because they wanted me to come on stage and do that. And I was like, I don't know the song. So my wife to this day still wants to choke me for that.
That is awesome, though. That
That's
is
yeah.
awesome. So
I
Crazy.
love how you
Crazy.
recognize the moment. I think that's cool.
you're present.
You're in the moment and recognize it.
That's I can't be anything but like you have when you there's something to be said about being self-aware in moments like that
Mm-hmm.
where you recognize where you are, who you are, and what the moment means, and just taking it in. And my wife, I have to give her credit for this. My wife has been very good at keeping me grounded and making sure that I appreciate and take the moment in and don't just take it for granted. Because I might be, I could be in the middle of the moment and then be on to the next thing. Like, how can I do this, 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 this? She's like, no, take a breath, understand, like, look at where you are. And moments like that are like moments where you you have to be able to look at where you are. And I to this day, again, just a surreal moment that I will never forget. And now, like, we're going to hang out with them next month at their residency in Vegas.
Really?
And
Cool.
yeah, like they're doing the residency at the I think the MGM Grand, and we're gonna go hang out with them in Vegas. And
The
it's
the Gen X
like
Takeover tour, or you and your wife?
me and my wife are going to
Oh,
hang out
okay.
with because like Donnie has been like it's crazy to think of the people who I've like encountered while on this journey. I can say, well, they're friends. Like Donnie has become a friend.
Mhm.
And if I went back to adolescent childhood Nick and told him, hey, by the way, this dude from New Kids on the Block, that's gonna be one of your boys. Like, shut up, get out of here. No, that's not a thing. But it's a thing. Like
Awesome.
that's. I'm gonna tell you a quick Donnie story. Um, so I am, like I told you, I'm part of a marching troop here in New Orleans that marches in Mardi Gras parades. They're called the Mandy Milkshakers. My
Mm.
wife is a Mandy. I'm a milkman. We're like security that walks along with them while they're on the parade route. They dress up as like pinup housewives in polka dot dresses and pearls and go and march in these Mardi Gras parades. So a lot of the ladies are Gen X and they are huge New Kids on the Block fans. Like there are a couple of them that are like one of them has a tattoo that says New Kids on the Block on her arm. So I took a picture of the tattoo and I sent it to Donnie, and he immediately FaceTime back.
Wow.
And like he sat there and talked to her. She's in tears, like crying. He talked to her. There were some other girls who recognized what was going on and they ran over to the phone. It was like, oh my God, it's Donnie. And they're going crazy and he's just pouring love on them. And he took pictures and sent them to me like screenshots that I could give to her so that she can have them. And it's like, that's just the dude he is, man. He's just the nicest guy ever. So to be able to say that that's my, but like it's the whole spectrum of like him and uh uh Edwin McCain, who that's my guy, and like all these people who I've met, who I've been able to become friends with. It's just so surreal, man,
Yeah.
because like it was again, it was never a part of the plan. That wasn't it was what was supposed to happen, and this is where we are. And it's hard for me to believe that this is like our reality because
You're
I
just
know
a
that
kid from northern Louisiana.
just some kid from northern Louisiana that's living the freaking dream.
Yeah,
That's
but
all it is, man.
Awesome.
I'm sure you've been on social media so long. You've seen the saying, "We made the right person famous," and I think there's a group of people you feel that way about, and you're that person. Mary, Kelly, and John, but
100%.
Johnny Wahlberg also, right? So
Yeah.
we made the right person famous. So when someone like you and someone like him connect, more good things.
It's the
You
good energy.
facilitated that for
Yeah.
that woman with him. So between
Yeah.
the two of you, look what you guys do. So that's where that feeling of the reason again this is all coming your ways because for you
Making
it's coming
magic.
from such a good place, such an authentic place.
Mhm.
So it's just going to continue to create that. but
Yeah.
not to say it's not surreal, because I can't even imagine.
Dude, it's still surreal. Like
Yeah.
nothing. Again, nothing happens by chance.
No.
Doesn't happen by chance. Like
Mm.
this is where we're in the places that we're supposed to be in. We're playing the parts that we're supposed to play, but it's still crazy to think that this is a reality. That this is my life.
Have you met
It's
any of your besides the Big E? Have you met any other WWE guys?
Yes. I had the opportunity to go because I one of my a buddy of mine is uh um Austin Romero. Mike Rome is what he's called on TV, and he is an announcer. He was on Raw and SmackDown, but now he's on NXT, which is their training program that's still on TV. It's on the CW on Tuesdays, and Mike was doing a SmackDown, I think, and I got the chance to hang out with him after the show, and we like walked backstage, and I got to see all these other people, and like I've had the opportunity to like do stuff with AEW, and there's some guys who were there who I've followed for years, so I got to meet and hang out with, and like there's some who I like talk back and forth with on like socials, and have become friends with and cool with. So it's like I'm still connected with a good number of those guys, and I'm thankful to have that connection because it's cool to be able to like talk to them, and they again another group of people who get it because they're in the spotlight every day, and to have people who can bounce some of this stuff off of and like talk to, it's really special and means a lot.
And what an amazing childhood dream to have it come full circle to where you're at now in connection with all these guys. I mean, that's just. Did you ever meet Hulk Hogan?
No, I didn't.
Have you
He's
met any
fantastic.
Buffalo Bills like Josh Allen or any of those guys?
I have not met Josh Allen. I met Josh Allen's mom and dad. I was in Seattle for a game last year and met his mom and dad while I was at a tailgate, and got to meet Eric Wood, who was a former Bills player who now does the radio for them, and Kyle Williams. I got a chance to meet. Kyle is a former Bill. He's from North Louisiana. He's from Ruston. He knows my wife. Um, she as an athletic trainer, a young athletic trainer, she was one of the first people to wrap his ankle when he played high school ball. So
Wow.
like that's why I married her, because she touched the bill. No,
How did you become a Bills fan?
how
Being
did
in
who become
Louisiana?
me?
Yeah.
Super Bowl 25 was the game, the wide right game between the Bills and the Giants. That was the first NFL game I watched in full. I watched it with my uncle when I was a kid, and I just became enamored with the team. Then that was what
Giants won that
s-
though, right?
yeah, because the Bills missed a field goal at the end of the game.
They were cursed
It's,
during that generation. They were
but no, they went to 4 Super Bowls in a row. Yeah, and
yeah,
that was the first one.
yeah.
Brian's a
So
Giants
yeah,
I'm
fan.
a Giants fan, yeah. But I like the Bills. I really like Josh Allen. He's amazing, man. He lit.
he's great.
I was rooting for the Jags because I do like Trevor Lawrence. I've been following him since
Yeah.
high school. But I mean, and Josh got beat up last week, man. Jeez.
Oh man, he got absolutely crushed. But
Yeah.
that's the toughness that you get from a guy like him and from a town like Buffalo, and
Yeah.
to see him kind of push through the pain and push through all the things to be able to lead them to victory in that game, and literally, put the team on his back in that last quarter was astonishing to watch. And he's probably gonna have to do it again this week if they want to beat Denver
Yeah.
tomorrow, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm excited about it. We represent the Bills in this house. Go Bills. Go Mafia.
One
That's
of
what we
my
do.
best friends was a Buffalo Bills cheerleader, and she did an episode and talked about her
Really?
time, yeah, as a
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills cheerleader. She grew up in Buffalo, born in Buffalo, goes up there so regular. Her family's up there. But what's so funny is when we released her episode, how many Buffalo people we got so much engagement, the loyalty from the Buffalo fans, Buffalo Mafia, just all of it. People that live in Buffalo. It's such a special community. And that was our
It
first
is.
exposure to that, which
Well,
is
they're
so
normal
many
people.
people. Yeah,
They're just,
you
yeah.
know, so and then we've had another guest on from Buffalo, and it's just special people, good people up there.
So the first, so okay, so the first big outing that my wife and I had when we were dating was at a Bills game.
Mm,
The Bills played the Saints for Thanksgiving a couple of years ago, and I got us tickets to go and check out the game, and it was just great to expose her to that, because at the time she was a Saints fan. I have converted her to Buffalo. Go Bills. And so a lot of the Bills Mafia that I had talked to over like social media for years were at that game. And we all hung out and partied before. And then after the game, we were hanging out on Bourbon Street. And somebody was like, "So, when was the last time you were in Buffalo?" And I said, "I've never been to Buffalo." And they were like, "You're kidding me. You've never been. You've been a big fan for this long. You've never been to Buffalo?" I said, "No." So they said, "You know what? There's a game coming up in a couple weeks. I'm not going to be able to go. So I want you to have the tickets. All you have to do is get there."
wow.
So, and there's another creator who recently had an experience just like that with Bills fans, who they were like, "Yeah, you never been to Buffalo. Here's some tickets. Just get to the game. Just get to Buffalo, and you can go." And it was an amazing experience for me. One, to be able to hang out with all these people that I had known online for years, but I never met in person. And
Mm,
two, to experience the generosity that they exude on a regular basis firsthand. Because these are the people who, when an opposing player gets injured, they donate money to his charity, and like, send their best wishes, and like it's just a fan base of just one. As a matter of fact, the guy that does the Bills Mafia merch, Del Reed, he's one of the originators of the Bills Mafia years ago on Twitter, to where it is now, is that they are the distributor of my merchandise. Like, all this stuff comes from like Bills Mafia. So I don't just like, it's not just a fan thing for me. It's a family thing, and that has been just an amazing part of this journey for me, is that we are able to partner with Bill's Mafia in a way like that, and
yeah.
be able to do our philanthropy like they do, because a portion of the proceeds from their merch goes to charitable organizations. So now a portion of the proceeds from my merch goes to
Wow.
charitable organizations. So it's just,
It's just all of it's every time we encounter anyone who's a Bills fan, who's from
mhm,
Buffalo, they're good
mhm,
people. It's just a
yeah,
good community, good organization, and the loyalty. Like my girlfriend, she wears the hat, the big hat, and all the whole thing. Like it's
yeah.
really an amazing thing. So before I ask my last question, Brian, do you have any more questions?
I do. Just to go back to your, I think it was 33 years, you said, after you bombed as an 11-year-old, you got back up
Yeah.
on the stage in San Diego, your friend came down, and you had to do 90 minutes. Did you have to do 90 minutes, and how did that go? What was that like to get back on stage after all those years? And 90 minutes seems like a hell of a long time to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I ended up doing I think something around a 20-30 minute set of comedy. And then my wife and I have a podcast that we did at the time, and we're gonna start back doing it here soon, called Hanging with the Harrisons, where it's just basically us chatting for about an hour. So we did around 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes of stand up, and then we did our podcast right after that, which was like, getting back up and doing the stand up in front of a crowd like that was crazy. And I I had so many emotions that were going on in my head and my body at the time. And to be back on stage to be doing comedy again after 33 years of like thinking of that one moment where I just was like done was it was emotional. It was very emotional. And the fact that I was able to have like friends and my wife and my old college friend there as well meant a lot to me. And having that support system there was part of what helped get me through that. And I look at that as the moment where a lot of what's going on right now really started to like catapult and go in an upward motion. So it was a very surreal and emotional moment, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
Yeah, cool.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I mean, the one thing I keep coming back to is just the fact that you're in the moment and present all the time, and you appreciate everything that's happening. And I have to think, I'm just thinking, you grew up as this kid in northern Louisiana, and you've just taken on life, and I just find that interesting. It's fascinating. It's cool. It's inspirational. I think it's motivational. You've taken on the world, and you're making it happen, and it's cool, and you're making connections with genuine connections with a lot of people. I just think that's cool.
Yeah, it is. I can't. That's a great word to describe it. I'm not even gonna lie.
My last question is always, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, um, hmm. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself continuing to spread light. I see myself whatever I'm doing. Cause I fully believe that social media is not the end all be all. That there is something out there for me, a purpose out there for me that goes beyond this. But whatever that thing is, I see myself spreading light, making people happy, loving on my wife and kids, and continuing to spread positivity in every single corner of the world. I see myself taking what I've learned and using it to help the next generation succeed. And I see myself being happy.
That's perfect. I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
great.
That's might be one of the best answers to that question. I have to be honest with you. That was perfect. I love that. I wish that all for you. And
That's your northern light.
I think it's all going to happen for you.
Yeah.
We can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing so much time with us, sharing your story. We can't thank you enough because we know you're so busy and you have so much on your plate. So that you took the time out to spend with us and for our listeners to share your story, to give more of yourself to your fans who listen to this. I know that they are going to hang on every word and love every minute of it, and to continue to be such an inspiration, not only to our generation but to the younger generations. To show when you hit this point in life, it's not the end; it's just the beginning. Because, like we said, you're still going. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It has been an absolute joy because this has been like therapy for me because we've touched on a lot of stuff that I haven't thought about in a while. I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense as to where I am now because of where all of this started and came from. And to be able to go back through those moments and to relive them and to hash them out has given me a lot of perspective that I probably really needed right now. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And If nobody's told you guys before, today, I should say, you're loved, you're appreciated, you're important, you're more than enough exactly as you are, and always remember to be great. This has been a wonderful experience. Bless you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the road.
For
Yeah, thank you.
sure, for
Really
sure.
appreciate it.
It's just thank you so much. And to our listeners, we are going to put in the show notes everywhere you can find Nick, and also the Gen X Takeover Tour, connect the information there so you can find out the dates where they're going to be. But everything you want to know, every way you want to connect with him will be in the show notes. So please check all of that out, especially if this is your first time hearing about Nick and about Gen X Takeover Tour. You have got to check this out. It's a whole world of amazing, amazing, positive experiences, and you will absolutely love it. So, again, thank you. Thank your wife for giving this time with us,
And the kids for giving
I
up.
will.
and the kids.
I
And
will.
then we
The
we
kids ain't too much worried about it, but her, she's like, get your here. So
Yeah.
I know. So please thank her in advance. And again, I like you just said, I see you from the start to here. It all makes sense. It's all connected, and it makes perfect sense to me why you're continuing to find such success in what you're doing. So we're honored that you shared your story with us and with our listeners. So thank you again.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And to our listeners, we always welcome any comments and questions. And if you have any comments or questions for Nick, we will make sure that he sees them if you leave them. And we will see you next time. Bye.